Good evening. Hope y'all are having a beautiful Fourth, man. I know I said I wasn't going to be on again, but I lied. Here I am. All right. So the title of today's conversation is going to be "How to Manifest When You Don't Believe," sparked by a conversation that I just had earlier. A really, really good conversation. So I'm going to break this down. Right. Let me make sure I'm live. Make sure I'm live. We get right into it. All right. Now, this is a very interesting question because I've spoken to a lot of people who feel this way. Right? Yeah, I want to manifest, but do you believe that you are the creator of your reality? Yeah, of course. I believe that I'm the creator of my reality. My thoughts and expectations create my reality, but there's always a but. But my past was difficult. But the current circumstances look like this. But the situation, this has happened. But my parents, but my subconscious mind is rejecting. But, right? All of these excuses. So we're going to talk about what belief actually means. And hopefully this can open up your eyes and this can help you get the life that you want. All right. So quote from Neville Goddard: "Imagination is the divine vision. When a man awakens to it, he becomes the living God." Imagination is the divine vision. All right. So no plan B. The dream is already yours. How to manifest: by eliminating the possibility of failure. Before I really dive into this, let's talk about belief and what belief means. Okay. When you try to define belief, when we say, okay, when you believe it, when you walk with faith, when you have belief in your imagined reality, how do you conceptualize this in your mind? I want to make the argument that belief is simply what you visit in your mind most frequently. I want to simplify belief for you. What do you visit in your mind most frequently? Is it the vision of what you want, or is it the vision of what you don't want? Which one appears in your mind most often? Let's say that this is belief, right? For the example, for the discussion today, that is belief. What you receive in your life is based on your awareness. It is what your awareness is on. Every reality is unfolding from within you. So when your awareness is on something that you want, there is a version of you, there's a perspective of you that is experiencing that right now. And as you maintain your awareness on this thing, the unfolding of it from within you leads you to meet it in this reality. This is simply how it works. So even the notion of believing is limiting. What is belief but a frequently visited thought, a frequently visited memory? This is what belief is. Belief is not a feeling. I constantly go back to this conversation about feelings and emotions, right? And I want to remove the thought that, or remove the belief, remove this notion that beliefs equal feeling. Belief equals frequency. When we talk about frequency, how frequently are you visiting a certain state of mind? The knowing of what you want. So your belief, even saying, I just don't believe it, even that in itself doesn't make sense. To say that you don't believe in something is just saying that I believe in something else. I frequently, in my mind, visit a different reality, a different scenario more frequently. That's the only thing that it means. So what I'm saying, right, when it comes to how to manifest when you don't believe, stop thinking that belief is a feeling, something that you have to conjure up. Belief is a frequency. It's the frequency that you visit something. How frequently, how often do you return to what you want? Okay? This is belief. This is how we're going to define belief moving forward. When I speak of belief, I speak of frequency. When we speak of consciousness, we're speaking of awareness. So when you are conscious, when you're walking around in your awareness, how frequently in your mind, whenever that certain subject comes up, do you visit what you want? Do you soothe yourself by saying, no, I already have it? This is belief. Belief isn't a feeling. You're going through this reality, right? You see what you see. Like we've often said, right? This reality has to be convincing. The illusion of it has to be convincing to sell it to you. This is why you want to come down here, because it feels very real. right? But what is actually real is your awareness. And the more often that you visit something in your awareness, now you light up that reality from within you. And now, from within you, the path unfolds to get there. Belief is simply awareness, frequency of awareness. So non-belief is not, what we're saying when we say I do not believe, is we're saying we believe in something else. I frequently visit a different situation. I more frequently visit the scenario where this does not happen versus where it does happen. So no longer think of belief as a feeling, as something you conjure up, as something that you have to feel, right? It's simply the assumption, oh, this is more true. This is the reality I'm buying into. This is where I'm putting more of my energy into. All right? So that is how we manifest when we don't believe. We simply understand how reality works. Frequency. The frequency. How frequently do you visit that state of awareness? All right? So no plan B. The dream is already yours. How to manifest by eliminating the possibility of failure. Eliminating the possibility of failure, right? I want you to understand, because I constantly bring up the affirmation of saying, I am that I am no matter what. Prosperity no matter what. Source no matter what. Right? One of the more powerful affirmations, why this is so powerful, why this is such a powerful affirmation, is it allows you to step into your power and only focus on what matters, what is real. The only thing real about your reality is I am that I am. It is who you are. It is your awareness. It's the God within you, right? The situation may not look ideal, but I am. These people around me may not be ideal or speak ideal, but I am. My thoughts might not be ideal when I'm trying to focus them on what I want, when I'm going back to the state of awareness of what I want, but I am. My emotions might not be perfect, but I am. It's going back to that awareness. I am. What are you frequently visiting? I am that I am no matter what. Okay? So, let's get into this a little bit deeper. Matthew 21:22. And all things, keyword all, whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, whatsoever. Not some of the things, whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing ye shall receive. Believing is the word we get caught on. Believing, what does that mean? Frequency. How frequently do you visit? How frequently do you visit that state of awareness? Don't care how you feel. How frequently do you visit that state of awareness? How frequently do you tell yourself, this is the reality I'm stepping into? This is the reality that I am experiencing right now. I'm granting it to myself in consciousness. It is unfolding from within me. That's what we're talking about. That is belief. All right? How to manifest when you do not believe. That is belief. Okay? So the dream is not a fantasy. It is a recall. The dream life is not something you achieve. It is something that you remember. Before you were born into this world, the vision you carry in your soul was already written. It is the echo of your divine inheritance, not a gamble, right? Source doesn't gamble. This is even the meaning of, Jesus representing your I am awareness when he is on the mountain saying, do not test God. It didn't mean don't question him. It means God doesn't gamble. God is not to be mocked. What does this mean? God's will is for you to have everything that you desire, everything that you focus on. And the way that Source, the Most High, the Almighty, the God within you guarantees that you receive this is by creating you in the image of the Almighty. This was all you needed. You were born with everything. You were created in the image. Therefore, you can receive everything. Okay? So to dream is to glimpse what already is in spirit. And to receive it, you must banish all doubt that it's even possible to fail. Surrender, right? When we talk about surrender, we're not talking about surrendering or just allowing these quote unquote negative things to flow. I'm talking about surrendering your judgment, surrendering the judgment that any of it is not adding up for you, that any of it is not unfolding for you. The situation might not look ideal, but I am. But the God within me is perfect, so the situation must be unfolding perfectly. Right? A big part of this is, how do you handle that middle? How do you handle the unfolding? You already have it. The moment you declared that you wanted it, the moment you saw it in your mind's eye and it made you feel good, you had it. Now, how do you handle the middle? If you do not see it in front of you yet, it's still unfolding. To get from where you are right now to where you want to be, life has to change, right? It has to evolve. It has to unfold. The only way it can do that is by changing. Who are you to judge anything? This is why even Jesus, representing your I am awareness, again says, do not judge. Do not judge. And we take that from a very human, literal perspective. But what this really means is you couldn't possibly judge anyway. You don't have the perspective. You're not that cold. You're not cold enough to judge it. You can't see enough. From our human perspective, we can't see enough. We only see a little fraction of reality, a little 0.001% of reality. Who are we to judge? The example, the metaphor that I gave last time is it would be like taking this cup, walking out into the ocean. You only see 0.001% of reality. Taking this cup, walking out to the ocean, dipping this cup, filling it up with ocean water, looking in it and saying, now I have a perfect understanding of the ocean, of the life in the ocean, of the different ecosystems in the ocean. I have a perfect understanding because I can study this one cup. That's what you're doing when you're looking out at reality and you're judging the fraction that you can see. All right? Quote by Wayne Dyer, you do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. Self-explanatory. As within, so without. As above, so below. The kingdom is within you. All right? Everybody's saying the same shit, just in different ways. Right? It's like you're getting punched from every direction. Somebody giving you an uppercut. Boom, the kingdom is within you. Now somebody hits you with a jab. Boom, as above, so below. Somebody hits you with another jab. Boom, thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. All these different ways to say the same thing. Everything is within you. You create reality. Okay? Quote from A Course in Miracles. He who knows the truth is free from fear, because he knows the truth cannot fail. He who knows the truth is free from fear, because he knows the truth cannot fail. What is the truth? You. There's only one thing that is true, that is real about this reality. It is I am. Okay? Everything else is temporary. If it's temporary, it's not real. It fades away. It's a true experience. Don't get me wrong. It's a real experience. But other than that, it's not real. Okay? When you eliminate the concept of failure, your vibration becomes pure authority. The moment you start entertaining plan B, I know my thoughts create reality, but you just don't understand my circumstances. Slap. I know my thoughts create reality, but my subconscious just keeps on another slap. Anything that you say after but is bullshit. It's not, it's a lie. You're just lying to yourself. You're playing make-believe. You're pretending to be something that you're not. Anytime that you act like you're not divine, anytime that you act like the situation is not unfolding for you perfectly, when you act like that, you're pretending to be something that you're not. However, because the source within you loves you unconditionally and so much, because source loves you so much and unconditionally and gives you whatever you want, even if you say, I am not source, it's not working out, source says, fine, yes, you can have that as well. You can have whatever you desire. That's how cold the God within you is, right? This is how cold your perspective, your awareness is, okay? Now, the moment you start entertaining plan B, you've stepped out of the frequency of creation and into the realm of compromise. Ew, compromise, yuck. But the spirit doesn't compromise. It delivers based on conviction. What is conviction? What is conviction? What is belief? It is the frequency that you visit something. How often do you visit it? Right? How often do you visit it? Okay. Ask and it is given, the law of the word. Jesus didn't ask and it might be given, right? It's not what Christ said. It's not what any of these spiritual texts say, right? Ask and it might be given. Ask, and we shall judge your desire based on how righteous it is and how in alignment with the world it is, and we will give it to you. No, it says ask, and whatsoever ye ask in my name. Jesus representing your I am awareness. In my name, I am. That will I do. John 14:13. All right, another way to say it. Matthew 21:22. If you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer. Right? You got an uppercut from one angle. Boom, then they hit you with a haymaker with the left. Right? Whatever you ask in my name, that will I do. If you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer. Don't get more clearer than that. Okay? Faith is not passive. It is a spiritual force that commands reality. Commands reality. We have to get out of the victim mindset. We have to get out the passive requesting mindset. All right? The passive request. And this is how we're taught to ask, right? It's how we're taught to be. We're taught to minimize ourselves. But I've never read any place where it said, the strongest beggar gets their prayers answered. Never heard that. Blessed is he who believes before he sees. If that doesn't sound like some kind of confidence, some might call it arrogance, some might say be humble. If that doesn't sound like that, I don't know what it is. Blessed is he who believes before he sees. I don't give a damn what I see. It's all working out for me. I already know. I've already seen the end of the movie. I have plot armor. I have divine plot armor. This is how I walk through life. Plot armor. I already know how it ends. God makes a way out of no way. God has weapons you don't know of. You don't understand. You can't comprehend, right? If that doesn't sound like walking around with some kind of arrogance, like dropping your balls, like walking around with that spiritual backbone, I don't know what it is. I do not know what it is, okay? Faith is not passive. It is a spiritual force that commands reality. Asking in faith is not begging. It's declaring alignment with divine law, right? Job 22:28. Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be added upon you or upon thee. One of the two, okay? Thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be added unto thee. All right, next quote, Ernest Holmes. When you call upon the name of God, you call upon your highest self. Internalizing God, teaching you that source is you, that you are source. Y'all are unrecognizably the same. Right? You can't be split. You are within God. God is within you. You are one in the same. You looking for God out there. God is watching you look for God out there. It's how close y'all are. Right? Neville Goddard, first quote that I brought up, the word is the seed. No, this is not the first quote. The word is the seed. The soil is the subconscious. Speak only that which you desire to grow. We put so much emphasis on feelings. Believe it to be true. What is belief? Belief is frequency. It's how frequently, how often do you visit that scenario? Right? The word is the seed. The soil is the subconscious. Speak only that which you desire to grow. This is why robotic affirming works, right? Frequently, how frequently, right? It removes the option for you to think against your desire. Just completely removes the option. This is why robotic affirming works. What is belief? What is belief? You can't tangibly define it. Belief is how often do you visit that scenario? What you visit most often is your belief. That's what you believe in. That is where your mind goes because that's what you believe in. This is a simple definition, a simple way to define this, right? Your awareness creates reality. Your belief creates reality beyond that. And what is your belief? What you place your awareness on. So how can I create something I don't believe in? It's an irrelevant question. It doesn't matter. You continue to put your awareness on what you want. You refuse to put your awareness anywhere else. You eliminate the plan B. The possibility of failure does not exist. I simply detach. I release. All right? And I can already hear, well, how do I do that? How do I release? How do I? So I'm going to say it even more clearly, right? I'm going to say it even more clearly. Release the judgment from anything. Everything is showing you that it's working out for you. If it looks bad, how do you know it's bad? You only see a fraction of reality. You don't know that, right? It goes back to the metaphor. It would be like scooping a cup of water from the ocean, looking at it and believing you could understand the ocean because you see a cup. You only see a fraction. Well, I get that, but here come the excuses. I get that, but my subconscious. That's another excuse. Your subconscious, it takes everything. You understand? Your subconscious is you. It's your mind. You are the one directing it. You are the one saying what you are going to believe in or not. You're the one who is saying, okay, I'm going to focus on this or not. Your subconscious has nothing to do with you pulling things into your reality. It says yes to everything. What are you saying yes to? But the situation I'm in is God makes a way out of no way. You know what I'm saying? This universe was created out of nothing. Whatever situation you have, you're the one judging it as positive or negative. It is just an opportunity for Source to create. That's it. God has weapons you don't know of, ways you don't understand, you can't comprehend. Don't even try. Just go to the end. Staying in the end creates the path. When you sit in the end of what you want, when you go to that end, that is what creates the path. Going to the path just creates more of the path. Going to the end creates the path to get to the end. This is creation, right? This is how to use your awareness. So this is not magical thinking. It is simply metaphysical law. The power of the spoken word backed by belief forms the unseen into form. In the beginning there was, and the word was, okay? So no plan B, the devotion of certainty. The universe responds not to desperation, but to decision. Nobody responds to desperation. Nothing does in this reality. It's the God within you, giving you hints in everywhere. Nothing responds to desperation, right? Everything responds to decision. The same way that when you're desperate for somebody, they're running away. You desperate for them, they're desperate to get away from you, right? But go to your DMs right now. Go to your text message right now. There's somebody that you know. If you hit them up right now, you already know without a doubt. They'll drive through whatever to get to you. Why? See, a lot of times we think that the knowing comes after they've done something. The knowing comes before. The knowing comes before, and then reality follows. Huh? You must treat your dream not as a possibility, but as a prophecy. You must understand that the prophets aren't the people that you read about in scripture. You're all prophets. We're all prophets. The life that we're standing in right now is the revealed prophecy of past versions of ourselves. We've spoken this life into reality. Okay? We've spoken this life into reality. All right? A mystical proverb, he who hesitates is divided. He who hesitates is divided, and the divided house cannot stand. What does that mean, a divided house? One day I'm cool. Like one day I'm thinking from the end. And then the next day I feel bad. I feel sad. So I use my feelings as an excuse to say, oh, if I feel bad, it must mean I'm not in alignment. Let me just think opposite. If when I feel better, then I'll be back in alignment. Your feelings make no difference about your alignment. Your alignment is just a story that you're telling. It is your awareness, right? Step back into your power. There are no excuses. Your feelings are not an excuses. Your feelings just happen. You're human. You're going to have feelings. Do you believe that your feelings are so strong, are so powerful? Your feelings are the effect, not a cause. Remember that. Your feelings have to happen after something happens. Could you really walk around? We think our feelings are so powerful. Could you imagine Source creating you and saying it is your emotions? It is your emotions that create reality. Could you imagine that? You can walk outside now and just get sad because of the weather. You could get bad news. You can get bad news all of a sudden and be in a terrible state for 2-3 months. Does that mean all of a sudden bad shit's gonna happen in your life? That would be cruel. That would be mean. Your feelings are just meant to tell you what you've been believing, what you've been thinking, what you've been expecting, what you're going through. We step into this spiritual space and we harm ourselves more because we put so much emphasis on our feeling. We hear things like feeling is the secret and we don't read into it. Clearly, I mean, even Neville, he said that he went back and he said, when I speak of feelings, I'm not speaking of emotion. It's the mere assumption that it's done. It's when we're talking about an assumption that it's done, what it is simply getting knowledge and saying, oh, I have this knowledge, now I can apply it. I know that if I visualize or affirm, it must be. That's it. That is the feeling. That is the assumption that it's done. Now, let's say that I'm sad or happy. Does that make it more likely to come or less likely to come? No. What makes it more likely or less likely to come? Me giving power to my emotions. This is why Jesus said, representing your I am awareness, you will have no power over me if not given from above. We are the ones who say, because I'm sad, I'm less in alignment. But that's not true. The only reason it's true is because you say it. Whether you're sad or happy, you're still perfectly in alignment. Your feelings mean nothing. The situation, the circumstances mean nothing. It's the story that you tell, right? Even that, right? So what if you feel too much? Even that is a limiting belief. What does feel too much mean? Feel too much? You're too human? You care too much about things? Love too hard? What do all these things mean, right? Don't deny yourself the beauty of your humanity. Allow yourself to feel deeply and understand that your feelings are not taking you away from the path that you want, from the desires that are divine promises within your mind. God will not be mocked. What does this mean? You have this desire for a reason. When you assume that it is true, it must happen. Your feeling is just a human thing. This is something that we all go through. This is something that we all go through. Walking around thinking that you have to be happy all the time, like a cyborg, like a psychopath, man. This is not realistic. It's not reality. Don't deny yourself a good life, a rich, fulfilling life experience because you're believing that your emotions are pulling you out of alignment. They're not. They're just giving you feedback. They're just pointing to what you're aware of. Feel them. Stop judging them. Stop judging them. Right? Your emotions are the weather. They pass. Tornadoes come through. The rain comes through. The sun shines through. But the sky is always present. It's always there. It's always there. Okay? So split focus. Oh, Matthew 6:22. Let your eye be single and your whole body shall be full of light. All right? Split focus dilutes power. Every time you consider failure, you add energy to an outcome that God never authorized. All right? Let's see here. James 1:8. Another favorite of mine. James 1:8. Do not waver, for the double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. All right? How frequently do you stand on business about what you want? How frequently do you revisit what you want? Do you keep in your conscious awareness what you want? Right? There's only one power in your reality, and it's you. All right? Number 3. I got you. How do you actually embody this mindset in the midst of the undesirable situations happening? Thank you for that question. I'm gonna be very clear about this, all right? So one of the core things that I want to preach and I want to push very, very strongly is the concept of detachment. And when I say detachment, I'm not talking about detaching from your desires. I'm not talking about detaching from what you want. What you want is what you want. You should want what you want. Okay? What I'm talking about is the detachment from the judging. When you have your desire, what actually happens is your desire is showing you who you really are. All right? So in my Father's house are many mansions. The temple of God is you. Within you are many dimensions. Every dimension is linked to a different perspective, right? So within you, you have multiple perspectives. You have infinite, beyond counting perspectives. Each of those perspectives is linked to different realities. Now, when you have something, it is showing you who you are. It is reminding you of who you are. It is a promise. We think that we are thinking of it, but it is Source thinking of it through you. And the only thing that you have to do in this moment is accept it as true, yield, and then experience your life normally. Experience your life normally. Now, what's going to happen is as this unfolds from you and you start walking through reality to get there, you're going to see certain things that look good to you. Oh, this looks like what I want. This looks like it's leading me to what I want. This must mean reality is, this must mean there's breadcrumbs and things are unfolding perfectly. Sure, perhaps. And then we'll see the opposite. And we'll say, this must mean it's not working. Now I can't waver. I have to stay focused on what I want. This must mean that I'm going the opposite direction. I have to try harder. Okay. I'm here to tell you that whatever you see, favorable or unfavorable, it's all, hear this clearly, it is all evidence that everything is working out. All of it. When we look at reality as humans, our natural human instinct is to judge. We judge everything. We judge everything. We judge people when they do things. We make long think pieces about when people do something that we don't think is right. Oh, they shouldn't have done this because yada, 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 and this is how men and women should be. We make think pieces, all right? We judge other countries. We judge our parents. We judge our children. This is the way that you should do it. We judge external circumstances. This is right, this is wrong. But what is very important for us to understand is that even physics tells us how little of reality we can see. You can only see such a small fraction of reality. It's less than 0.01%. It's such a small piece of reality that what is actually going on is exponentially larger. So when we get caught up in that little piece, right? Because remember, you only can experience life one perspective at a time. That one perspective is one aspect of the infiniteness of you. Right? The same way that when you look out in reality, you can only see this small perspective. It's one perspective of the infiniteness of reality. To get to where you want to go, things have to go from point A to point Z. And in the middle of that, there are going to be changes. Reality is always changing in every moment. For it to get from where you are to where you want to be, it has to change. The nature of the mirror, because reality is a mirror. The nature of a mirror is sometimes the mirror looks off. Sometimes it looks backwards. We perceive it oddly. Sometimes the reflection in the mirror, you walk by the mirror, you catch something out the side of your eye, you look and you're like, oh, what was that? Sometimes if you put your right hand up in the mirror, it looks like your left hand is being raised. When you look out at reality, sometimes it looks like things are going wrong, but they're always going right. The only thing that makes reality not unfold to what you want is if you say it's not. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. Meaning, if you look out in reality and say it's not working out for me, it's not unfolding for me, guess what? The reality says yes. So whatever you see, favorable, unfavorable, the only job that you have is to look at it and say it's all unfolding perfectly for me. This is your only job. You have one job. One job. You don't get paid overtime for trying to figure out exactly what's working out. You don't get paid extra for that. All right? You have one job. Me and my Father are one, but my Father does greater than I. Your only job is to look at reality, say it's all working out to get me to where I want to be. I already have that within me. In every single situation, if it changes, if it looks different than it did a moment ago, that simply means, it's changing for me. When I talk about surrender, I'm talking about surrender your desire to judge. Flow through life, enjoy life. It is what it is, and it's all perfect. The situation may not look ideal, but the God within me is perfect, so the situation must be unfolding perfectly. This is the only way. Okay, not the only way. This is my best advice to handle undesirable situations. Some people will say, tell the 3D to get away or F off, or I say stop reacting to it. I say step in the awareness of who you are. I say judge it righteously. This is what scripture says, right? Judge not by appearance, but judge righteously. Not because this is going to give you a quick path to heaven, but because you couldn't possibly judge it correctly anyway. You couldn't possibly judge it correctly anyway. You think certain things are going well, and so you declare them as well. But of course they are. They're all divine. They're all from you. They're all perfect because you are perfect. Because your desires are perfect. You believe something is going wrong, and so you declare it to be wrong. But that's not the case. It is perfect because you are perfect. And it is leading you exactly to your desire because your desire is perfect. The only off part of this whole equation is us. It's us looking out there and reacting negatively. It's us looking out there and believing that what we're seeing is the end when it's still the middle. If you don't see what you want, it's still unfolding. If you don't see what you want, it's still unfolding. Okay? So hopefully that helps. How to handle undesirable situations happening. Okay? So, where was I? So the seed is already planted. You are just catching up. The moment you desire something, it exists. Right? The moment you desire it, it exists. Desire is not lack. It is spiritual memory. Start trusting your desires. Your desire is spiritual memory. It's your soul remembering what is already yours in the invisible realm. Right? Florence Scovel Shinn, quote, to desire is to expect is to receive. What is an expectation? What is the difference between wanting and lack and wanting an expectation? Is that when I want an expectation, it's because I already know it's mine. When I want in lack, I'm hoping and wishing and begging and pleading, please. I can't get it because I have not given it to myself. All right? Quote from Emmett Fox, your desire is the God within you calling you to remember your power. That is a bar. That's a bar. Your desire is the God within you calling you to remember your power. Don't get more divine than that. Do not treat the dream like it's far away. It's already done. It's right here. You're experiencing it right now. You're just aligning yourself with the version of you that holds it. When I say aligning, let's not make this about some long drawn out process of reprogramming the spooky subconscious. Reprogramming the spooky subconscious and regulating the crazy nervous system. I'm talking about going within right now and simply saying the word, it is mine. My desire is holy. It is all unfolding from within me right now. And then believing it. And let's go back to belief. What is belief? The frequency. How frequently do you visit what you want? How frequently do you visit it? Do you visit what you want more than you visit what you don't want? You should visit what you want so often it drowns out the possibility of thinking about what you don't want. Okay? Mark 11:24, believe you have received it and it shall be yours. Once again, all these spiritual teachers just slapping you around, just telling you things in a whole bunch of different ways, hoping it'll sink in. All these different ways, just hoping it'll sink in, right? That's it. That is it, my brother. Going back and saying it's yours. So So think of it like this, right? And the example I always give is this. If you catch yourself thinking against what you want, your obligation right now is to go back and think about what you want 10 times as much. Your dominant thought. You should get to the point where anytime it even crosses your mind that you don't have what you want, you remind yourself that, yes, I do. It's already mine. It's unfolding from within me. Because you already have it. It already exists in this reality. It's just in the 99.999% that you can't see. That's it. It's just in that 99.9 that you can't see. And by holding your awareness on it, right, what you're going to realize is that you create this image in your mind of holding this chapstick. You just have this image in your mind, right? And all of a sudden, right, you hold on to this mind, and then you walk through reality, you end up finding yourself in the same frame that you were imagining holding this chapstick and being like, oh shit, it is mine. I remember when I just desired this. It's just how often are you going back? How often are you going back to what you want? Okay? So every act of devotion, every choice aligns with your higher self is a vote cast in favor of inevitability, right? Another way to say that, because I don't think I was clear enough. I want to give another example. All right, when we say everything is already here, right? Within you are infinite versions of yourself. Within those infinite versions of yourself is infinite abundance. All right? So it's not as if abundance has to appear out of nowhere. You already have it. It's flowing through all these different versions of you. But by focusing your awareness from the perspective of you that has it, now all of a sudden it can materialize in your reality. You're not really even creating per se. You're choosing to see the world differently, and the world must change. You already have these things, like your prosperity is already here with you. You simply change your perspective to I am prosperity no matter what, and that prosperity can materialize. It's already here. You're just only seeing a small fraction of reality. So once you align yourself with a different fraction, now the money can actually come. Okay? So you are the mirror of God's imagination. You're not trying to convince the universe to give you your dream life. You are source. You are the universe. You are God, remembering that the dream was planted in you because you were worthy to live it. Okay? Imagination is the divine vision. When man awakens to it, he becomes the living God. When man awakens to it, he becomes the living God. Okay, Matthew 5:14, you are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Stop asking for what you already have. Instead, embody the version of you that already has it. Okay? Let's see. I already went through those quotes. So let's go right to the reflection questions. Okay? Number 1. Where in my life am I allowing plan B to dilute my faith? Okay? Is there a part of my life where I know what I want, but the plan B, I'm visiting the plan B too much. It's diluting my faith that I can get to what I want. Right? Where in my life am I allowing plan B to dilute my faith? Number 2. Okay? Number 2. What would I do differently if I believed failure was impossible? What would I do differently if I believed failure was impossible? Would I think differently? Would I surrender differently? Would I breathe differently? Would I be more present with my loved ones? Who would I be? Okay. Number three. Oh, I said 5. Oh, never mind. Number 3. Am I acting like the version of me who already has it, or just waiting to become them? Am I acting right now? Am I acting like the version of me who already has it? Am I expecting, or am I just waiting to become them? Let me give you a little example of this. What is the difference? What would it mean to be waiting to become someone? Well, yeah, of course I believe that my thoughts create my reality, but my subconscious mind keeps rejecting it. You're waiting, right? One day you believe in some distant future that doesn't even exist, because the future is just a thought, that one day the subconscious mind will snap into place and all your dreams will fall into your lap, right? Well, yes, I hope that it works out with me and her and me and him. However, we've just been through this and that and that and this and this and this and this. Oh man, arguing for your limitations. Arguing for your limitations. So do you understand that the self-work is simply self-work for you, but the self-concept, knowing that you are worthy because you are source, knowing that you are in alignment with everything that you want because God is within you, knowing that you are infinite prosperity because source is infinite prosperity, that is simply a knowing. That's simply awareness. The self-work that you do is for you. It does not touch the source within you. Nothing does. You are absolutely worthy for everything that you want, no matter what. All right. Number 4. What self-image must I fully release to walk as the embodiment of answered prayer? What self-image must I fully release to walk as the embodiment of answered prayer? Is there an identity of a victim within you at all? Okay. Let's go a little bit deeper with that question, right? What self-image must I fully release to walk as the embodiment of answered prayer? Okay, let's go a little bit deeper, all right? Do you have expectations or generalizations that you've made about the world that are not in alignment with what you want? Relationships are always so easy to do this because if I want a woman that's a certain way, or ladies, if you want a man that's a certain way, do you have generalizations about the opposite gender that are not in alignment with what you want? Generalizations are a self-image. It's a declaration of who you are. It's just an unconscious declaration. Well, it's not even an unconscious declaration. It's just a declaration. It's just let's say unconscious. It's a declaration of yourself made in a state of low consciousness, right? If I believe that I want this loving, faithful woman, right? And I say women these days are not faithful. That large generalization. What I'm really saying is I am a man who only attracts this type of woman. That's really what I'm declaring. Everything that we say is a declaration of I am. Okay? So what self-image must I fully release to walk as the embodiment of an answered prayer? If you want money and you believe money is difficult to get, you can only get money through this one means. Attack that. And when I say attack it, I don't mean do the subconscious work. I mean right now. You look at that belief and you say, I no longer want to live by this belief. I understand that I can embody one of infinite perspectives. Why would I ever choose to embody a perspective of anything that limits me from what I want to be? Do you understand that your desires are given to you for a reason? Your desires make up who you are. Your desires are holy, right? The common example, right, that I give, because it just kind of clicks this into place for me, is some people want to live in the country. Some want to live in the city. Some want to be millionaires. Some want to be billionaires. Some want to be nurses. Some want to be doctors. Some want to be lawyers. Some want to be engineers. Some want to have multiple kids. Some want one. Some want none. Some want marriage. Some don't. Do you understand that your desires are specific to you? They're holy. It is a source within you reminding you of who you are. All right? And so if you looked at those desires as holy, why would you embody a self-image, right? Why would you embody a self-image that puts you out of alignment with that thing? Right? Why would you embody a self-image that puts you out of alignment with that thing? We have to be very careful. This word will quickly push you to make generalizations. It will quickly push you to make generalizations. It will quickly push you to try to force your limitations on other people. quickly. We see it all the time, right? We see this in politics. We see this in churches, right? We see this in sports. We definitely see this between men and women. All these limitations, right? Just dumping these generalizations. And what these generalizations do is they keep us from really living the life that we want. On a collective level, yes, we're reprogramming the collective consciousness with these. All right? Why are relationships the way they are today? Whether you believe that they're better or worse, doesn't really matter. Let's give one perspective. If there's a certain demographic that's constantly talking about certain aspects of relationships and there's a lot of distrust brewing, as a collective, we're manifesting we're creating a different reality that we're all living in right now. We're creating a different reality, right? Now, you can either create your reality consciously or unconsciously. So if you take control of your generalizations, of your expectations, what you realize is that you're going to start creating the reality that you want. But if you walk around unconscious, what you realize is people will tell you things. People on the internet tell you things. People on TV tell you things. And you accept those beliefs as true. And now somebody else is creating a reality for you. Do you see this? Do you understand that? Either you're creating reality for yourself or someone else is. But here's the deeper truth. Most of our expectations, our thoughts, our beliefs are from other people. From your parents, from friends, from teachers. If you find somebody that all of their thoughts, all of their beliefs, they purely came up with them themselves, this person lived in isolation from the moment they were born. They were just dropped in the middle of the forest. All of our beliefs are formed by other people. Where the challenge is, well, most of them, not all of them, where the challenge is challenging those expectations and those beliefs, questioning them and saying, which ones of these do I really want to live by? Do I really want to accept as true? Okay? If you examine your expectation and then you say, I don't want to live in a reality like this. I don't want to live in a reality that confirms this expectation. Then simply drop that expectation right now. How do you do that? Tell a new story right now. If you feel like, you have to do something large, then I would recommend writing a letter to an old version of yourself. As the goddess that was on here yesterday, Lacey said, right? I think one of the things she did that was extremely powerful was basically propose to herself, gave herself a ring, right? Symbolizing an agreement that she made with herself. Right? I didn't realize you were still on. I was trying to sneak that in. I'm just playing. But symbolizing an agreement that she made with herself. Whatever you have to do to symbolize releasing that old belief, do it. Right? Whether it's writing a letter, whether it's giving yourself a ring, whatever you have to do. Standing in front of the mirror and telling yourself, thank you. Thank you for creating these beliefs to protect me. But from now on, we're going to get everything that we desire, everything that we want. So we can't hold on to this belief anymore. And as a reminder of the new life that we are now married to, wear this ring or wear this necklace or wear a bracelet or something, symbolizing it. Make it meaningful to you. Do what you have to do. All right? But examine all your beliefs. If those beliefs do not lead you to the life that you want, they're not for you. Okay? They're not for you. Cool. All right. So, in closing, the dream was not placed in me to torment me, but to awaken me. The dream, the desire was placed in me to remind me of who I truly am. I do not hope, I remember. Damn, this beard is crazy. All right. I do not hope, I remember. I do not beg, I align. I do not wait, I embody. It is already done, and I am already becoming. You don't get your dream life by being realistic. Hear this. Because a lot of times when we think of realistic, what do we think of? We think of negativity. Most people say, oh, Dawn, you can't do that. You got to be realistic. But Dwayne, I have to be realistic. This is just how it is. No, how it is how you are. You are reality. What you say is what it is. It's all working out for me, or this is just what it is. Shit sucks. Whichever one you say is true. Whatever you declare it to be is true. Okay? The gate between the invisible and the visible is opened by certainty and not contingency. There is no plan B because plan A was written in heaven. Plan A was written in heaven. Okay? And then what does waiting look like? Waiting looks like living your life as if you know everything is unfolding perfectly for you, being in the present moment, enjoying breakfast when you can, enjoying that workout when you can. If anything opposite shows up in your mind, you say, no, it's already coming. It's already mine. It's unfolding from within me right now. Anything negative shows up, you look at it and say, aha, this is proof that it's all working out for me. Anything positive shows up, you say, aha, this is proof it's all working out for me. Right? It is expecting, anticipating, knowing that it will unfold. You are like that child on Christmas Eve. That child on Christmas Eve, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter if you walked in and told your child, your small child, that, we're just going to have to move today. They're not going to calculate the moving. They're not going to bring no logic or ego into it. They don't calculate your moving costs. They don't care. Okay, whatever. I know I'm still going to get my present tomorrow from Christmas. This is your heavenly Father within you. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You are still guaranteed to get your gift. You're still guaranteed to get what you want. Wait like that child waiting for Christmas. Only difference is you don't know when Christmas is going to come. Just expect it to come. Right? Cool. But that's what I wanted to go through today. Let's do questions, man. If y'all got any questions, let's talk about them. But in conclusion, right, while y'all are typing, if y'all are typing, in conclusion, belief is simply how frequently you visit something. When we think of belief, no longer think of feeling. No longer think of it, all right? The only feeling that you should have is an expectation that what you want is going to unfold, is unfolding. It's going to show up. But belief simply means how often I put my awareness on something. The more I believe in something, the more I put my awareness on it. What is belief but a thought? What is belief but what I'm aware of? We've been tricked to think that belief is just what we can see. But everything starts in the mind first. Nothing is created without language preceding it. Nothing is created without language preceding it. Okay? Even if you want to create a car, the word car was created before the car was. Then all the parts were explained. They were spoken into existence. They were planned and spoken, right? So everything starts in the mind. All is mind. Your belief is simply what you place your awareness on the most frequently. This is your frequency. Okay? This is your frequency. I appreciate you, Christine. Thank you. Thank you. And then how often do I suggest to affirm or put my awareness on the thing that I want? As often as you need to. As often as you need to. I always want to remind you that you are the technique, right? It is your awareness, your consciousness. It is you knowing that you are source. You are the engine to your technique. So does it matter how much you affirm? No. Does it matter how much you visualize? No. But your job is to not think against what you want. It's to not think against what you want. If you want something, all right? If you catch yourself thinking against it, then you should have your affirmations as weapons. Let me make this practical. Because I do fight against trying to make things too practical, because I want you to believe in yourself more than you believe in the process. Because you can do the process all day, but until you understand who you are at the core, until you understand who you are behind the process, Do you understand what the energy is that's making those processes work? Processes can be in vain. They can be frustrating. You go on them with effort. You, instead of believing that there's some God in the sky, you believe that there's power in these processes, right? You keep putting your attention on things out there to change. And so one of my favorite quotes by Neville is, once you master your inner talk, you can put aside all processes. Once you master how you're speaking to yourself, day to day, moment to moment, now you can actually put away those processes. You don't need to affirm. You don't need to visualize. You simply know it's yours. You simply remind yourself that it's yours. You simply speak as if it's yours all the time. You speak in expectation, the absolute knowing, the absolute conviction that it's all working out for you, no matter what. Right? But how often? I mean, as often as you feel you need to. If you feel that you need to visualize every night, go ahead and do it. But don't do it. Do it for fun. Do it to experience what you want. Don't do it to get something. If you're thinking about the process as if this process is going to get me that thing, I want you to remove that. You do the process to know that you have it right now. That is the power of the process. I do this to know, to remind myself that I have it right now. All right? To remind myself I have it right now. And then throughout the day, I assume that it's unfolding. I assume that it's unfolding. Meaning, anytime I think opposite of it, I remind myself, no, I already have it. I already have it. And then I go to my affirmations in that moment, right? But that is where the power is. The power is in knowing who you are. The power is in knowing that. This is why even when Neville says like the assumption, assuming or feeling is a secret, knowing that it's done is a secret, it is, okay, I've given you this technique. I've told you that you are divine. I've told you that your imagination is God. I've told you that you are source. You are the operant power. That's all you need to know. If we could simplify all this in a couple sentences, it would be like this. God is not out there. You are God. God is within you. You are source. Okay? You are source. You are God. Damn, the balloons flying. You are source. You are God. What you imagine and know is true unfolds. And it is you assuming that is it. It is that assumption that makes it all happen. That would be simplifying it. I know that I am God. Okay, cool. So I know that whatever I imagine is reality. So now I imagine it and then I walk in the assumption. It's just a decision. Oh, because I know I'm God, because I know my imagination is reality, now I know it must happen. And I walk through life and everything proves to me. Oh, y'all see the fireworks out there? That's live. And everything proves to me. I don't think y'all can see the fireworks, right? Yeah, y'all can see them now. Kinda. That's fire. But anyways, that's how to simplify it, right? I am God, I am source. My imagination creates reality. And whatever I imagine, if that creates reality, now I can simply rest in the knowing that it is unfolding. What slows this process down is the doubt. Number one is doubt. Number two is thinking that when Neville said feeling is the secret, thinking that when these spiritual teachers say feeling is the secret, thinking that means emotion. So, oh no, I cannot afford to feel bad. No, it's just knowing that whatever you feel, because I've already imagined it and I've already accepted it as true, and I know that I am source, and I know that this intelligence within me is infinite, it knows me more than I know myself. I really don't even have to clarify shit. We often think like, oh, am I doing it right? Do I have to clarify it more? You didn't create that desire. That desire was created by something greater than you. It was created by something greater than you. You just need to know, to assume that every moment that I walk, everything is working out for me. That's it. That's it. Okay? That must be cool to live by Disney. Disneyland is in LA, right? I was talking to my sister about that, and she was like, "Yeah, Disneyland, LA land, and then Disney World is in Florida." I was like, "Oh shit, I never thought about it like that. That's cool. Hopefully, I said that right." That in itself, right? Thinking that you have to say more things, more words, you know, it's something to confront within yourself. It's a limiting belief. Before they answer or before they ask, I will answer. That's a divine statement. How could Source answer before you ask? Because Source knows you more than you know yourself. Source knows you more than you know yourself. So your job is simply to walk in that faith. It's simply to know, simply to come into the awareness that it's all working out for you perfectly, right? Let me turn on my fan. Simply to walk in the knowing that it's all unfolding perfectly for you. It's pretty cool. There's some fireworks going on out there too. And way out there. Damn, it's a lot. That's so loud. I always like, man, it's always nice to stay here at this time. Damn, there's fireworks everywhere. Anyway, I'm acting like a kid right now. Getting excited as hell watching that. It's cool. That was cool. That's really cool. There's so many. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 9 different fireworks displays, man. It's pretty cool. How do I limit checking or I don't really limit it. I just know that because I am who I am, that everything is changing. Right? So everything is always changing moment by moment, minute by minute, second by second anyway. So whether I check or don't check makes no difference. Right? I used to think one thing that I used to think is like, how would I know it happened if I don't check? Oh, you'll know it happened. You'll know it's happened. It shows up in a way that makes sure that you know, right? That was my understanding of even the God is a jealous God. The understanding of that isn't that God, is jealous in the human sense. He wants to give you something and put it in your face so clearly that you know it's him, right? That all of a sudden, that you have no choice but to give him the praise for it. You have no choice but to give this divinity, this source, her or him, this absolute acknowledgement for it. Right? Yeah, those fireworks are beautiful. There's like 9 of them going on. It's incredible. It's incredible. I almost thought about just cutting y'all off for a second and watching it, but I'm not gonna do that. But don't think about it as in peeking or not. Think about it like this. I am source. I know the law. I've already claimed that it's mine. It doesn't matter if I peek or don't peek. Doesn't matter if I look or don't look. It's all unfolding perfectly for me. Doesn't matter if it looks like it is or looks like it ain't. It's all unfolding perfectly for me. So keep in mind, right, you're going to get the blueprint from a lot of people, okay? People are going to say you do this, do that. Whenever we start asking too many questions, I want y'all to really, really peep this, okay? Don't bring logic into a spiritual process. The spiritual process is extremely simple. It is so simple that our humanity is like, what? The source within you creates worlds, universes, stars, galaxies. Everything here is created by source, right? So in our human minds, it's very difficult for us to believe, oh, this is a simple process. It is. Know that you are divine. Know that you are source. Whatever you give yourself in your imagination, whatever you affirm must happen. Whatever you see is all working out for you, whether it looks good or bad, right or wrong. And when it materializes, reality will show you in a way that pulls your attention so clearly to it, you will say, ah, shit, thank you. That's it. That's the process, right? Anything else, we just try to bring logic. We think, am I affirming too much? Am I being too clear? Am I not being clear enough? What if I get the wrong thing because I have not declared it enough? What if the affirmation is off? What if I'm not doing it in a true state akin to sleep? Or what if, guys, it's okay. It's okay. The only thing that you have to do is make the assumption. The feeling is the secret. The process is not the secret. The technique, the affirmation is not the secret. It doesn't matter, right? Imagination by itself is not the secret. It is the knowing that this thing that I imagine is going to come true. This is why you can go watch a movie, have nightmares about the shit, and the shit does not happen to you. It's about what you know to be true. So even belief, what is belief? The frequency of visiting it in your mind with the understanding, with the knowing, with the conviction that it's going to happen. The awareness that it's going to happen. It's telling the story that this is going to happen, right? Allow this to be simple. Allow this to be simple. You've been creating your entire life. This entire reality that you are in was created by you. The phone created by you. Everything that you see, the chair, the bed that you're laying in, created by you. It's all you. It is all you. You've been doing this effortlessly your whole life. Right? Effortlessly your whole life. You are the secret. You are the technique. You are the technique. Oh, they're going crazy over there now. It must be like the finale. I'll let y'all see that. Where is it? Where is it? Damn, where is it? It died now. It was going crazy for a second. What else y'all want to talk about, man? Doesn't matter. If you can't visualize, affirm it, right? It's, guys, remember this, all right? Remember this. Don't limit yourself. Do not limit yourself. You are the technique. It is what you assume to be true is going to be the technique, right? It's you. You are the one that makes the magic happen simply by your declaration that what you are affirming or what you've believed to be true is going to happen. So when we get caught up in can't visualize the perfect thing, don't limit yourself. You visualized enough. You already know what you want. You know what you want. The image in your mind is simply a soothing technique for your ego. But you already know what you want. Walk in the conviction that because you're doing this, it must happen. Doesn't matter how clear or unclear it is. The power is not in the technique. The power is in you. Okay? The power is in you. Yeah, and I go to sleep listening to the Parrot app all the time. Very, very frequently. And if anybody doesn't know the Parrot app, what it is so here it is. So it's this app right here. This app right here, it has recordings on it. And you can record yourself speaking. Let's say you record an affirmation, right? You can say, I am divine. Stop it, and then once you actually play it,
say, I am divine.
it's just gonna repeat.
Say, I am divine.
So if you want to do your own affirmations, you just have them on loop and play them when you sleep, or play them when you work out, or play them when you're going through your day. It's just a good thing to have. Free app, quick. It's literally for one purpose. It's just for recording. It's called Parrot, like the bird, Parrot. And I find it's cool because, a lot of people like subliminals. I like them a lot. And not only because of what it does, I guess, when you're asleep, which is cool, but because it's the first thing in the morning that you hear. So you wake up to it. And I often have because I dream a lot, right? But I often have dreams about the subs that I'm playing. So it's always cool, especially when you have the more conscious dreams where you know that it's playing. You're like, oh shit, that's my subliminal. I'm dreaming. Let's keep going. Right, so pretty cool. I think it helps a lot. But I think it would be nice, if you want to use subliminals for things, or if you want to use these affirmations for, instead of driving with music, you drive with your affirmations on. Repeat your affirmations with yourself. It's like you and yourself in the car. Right? And you can make them as specific as you want. I think you can record, I don't remember the limit, but you can record for a long time. This one, how long is this one? You can record for a while, so you can loop things for a lot. Yeah, for sure. It definitely helps to hear your own voice. It's really cool. It's really cool. If you're walking in the end here, you see yourself married, how do I feel about dating others? How do you feel about it? I mean, it's about you, right? If within you believe that that's gonna pull you off, then don't do it. But I'm here to tell you that nothing can pull you away from the end. You already have it. You're already living it, right? So you can do whatever you want. You're already in alignment. You already have that thing. What do you have to do? You already know what I'm gonna say. What do I have to do? What should I do is always the wrong question. What do I have to remember that I already am is the right question. I already am that. If I already am that, then it doesn't matter what I do. I already am this. I'm already there. It's already me. I already have it. All right? So don't worry about what you do. You can't throw off what is promised. You can't overwrite the prophecy. You already have it. You already have it. If let me put it like this to be a little bit more clear, okay? If you see yourself as married and you start dating, and let's say you see yourself married to a specific person, and then you start dating somebody else, it's still the perfect unfolding to what you want. If you're not supposed to be there, what's going to happen is you're going to get ripped out of that situation anyway. Hell, you might even change your assumption going through it and then want something different. But that's a whole nother story. Point being, for this specific topic, if you're living in the end, it doesn't matter what you do. You're going to get there. All right. This is again us trying to bring logic into a spiritual process. We can't bring logic into a spiritual process. We cannot bring logic into a spiritual process. What's up? We are on, we talked about, right now we're just doing Q&A, so if you have a question, we can talk about it. But the conversation today was, what's up? The conversation today was how to manifest when you don't believe. We talked about belief. We talked about belief. when your energy is low. Energy is low. Explain that. What does that mean? Your energy is low. I mean, you're tired. Can a woman be too old to find her Prince Charming? Absolutely not. Too old, right? That in itself is a limiting assumption. That's a limiting belief. Can I be too old? Can I be this? Can I be that? No. You're always, thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be, right? So whatever you're expecting, whatever you are declaring to be true, that you're making the rules, right? You're playing every role in your life. You're playing every role in your life. You are the actor, the main character. You are the director. So you're giving everybody else the script, right? You are the editor. When you see things you don't like, you edit the script. When you see things, you know what I'm saying, you get scared, you start editing the script as well. But no, it is not too old. This is why we have to confront our beliefs. If I believe that, women, all these things, let's give an example, because I was talking about this earlier when I said, just to recap, especially when it comes to relationships, with anything, but let's use relationships because it's a great example. If I want a certain thing in my life, I really have to examine the generalizations that I'm making about the opposite gender, especially the ones that the world is trying to feed to me. If you're a woman with children and you see everybody online, I say everybody being sarcastic, you see 7 people online saying that men don't like women with kids, and you internalize that and you start believing it and walking as if it is true. Guess what? You're limiting yourself. You're creating a reality where now, because the declaration of I am is conscious and unconscious, right? So if I say I am somebody who has children so men won't like me, it's the same thing as saying men don't like women with kids. It's the exact same thing. I'm just saying it backwards. I'm saying the same thing. Everything that we say is a prayer. It's a declaration of who we are, right? If you want a faithful woman, you saying all these women are like this, it's a declaration. It's a decree of who you are. I am someone who only attracts this. This is the type of women that exist in my reality. Therefore, I must get it. We have to be very careful about how we're explaining things, right? Oh, I said ask questions. They all flew through there. Let me see here. Do I believe in tarot cards? I mean, yeah, I believe in it, but you don't need it, right? We're always looking for validation. Simply say what you want, assume that it's true, and allow it to be. When we're looking, this is the story that I always do, right? The story of the pool of Bethesda, where Jesus walks to the pool and there's a whole bunch of crippled people, sick people, right? A whole bunch of sick people. And they're out there, and they're believing that at a certain time, there was an angel that stirs the pool, and whoever was the first in the pool will be cured. Okay? And then Jesus, representing I am awareness, showed up, and what did he say? He said, "Do you want to be healed?" to one of the crippled men. He said, "Of course I do, but I have nobody to take me to this pool." Right? Of course I do, but even when I do have somebody, somebody else gets there first. What does this pool represent? The stirring of the pool. Okay? It represents when we think that we can get validation from what we're doing by looking at the external world. When I tell you how simple this is, know that you are source. Know that if you visualize, if you affirm whatever it is, you are creating reality. Know that no matter what you are seeing out there, everything is unfolding and working for you. And then allow it to show up. It is easy. We are the ones who overcomplicate it and saying, "Oh, well, what if I've said that this is going to happen, but I went to this tarot lady and she said this." You are looking for validation in the external world. You are the validation. The proof that things are showing up is that you believe that they're showing up. It's simple as that. The proof that they're not showing up is that you believe that they're not showing up. It is that. It is us that are sitting here making the processes complex, that are trying to look at 5 different people saying 5 different things. You are the one who makes the rules. Do you understand that? You are the one who makes the rules. You are the one that says this is working or not. This is why we say a simple assumption that I am no matter what is all you need. The knowing that I am source, that my mind creates reality, my thoughts create reality. And that's it. That's it. That's the only thing that we have to do, right? The only thing that we have to do. It works because you are you. Anything else is overcomplicating. Anything else is overcomplicating, all right? It says, so what third party? There is no third. What third party? I don't see a third party, man. You have to, if you're already with them, why are you worried about them? If you're already with them, there is no third party. So go to the end, right? I keep catching myself getting a little aggressive, so I'm trying to calm it down so I can be very clear. There is no third party. There is no lack. There is no, the vision that you have in your mind, the single image should already imply that there is no other person, should already imply that there is no lack, should already imply that everything is working out. That single image. So if that were true, right? If that were true, that vision that you have in your mind were true, then how can you continue to come back to the awareness of this other person? All right? This other person doesn't exist. When you keep focusing on them, do you understand that you're the one creating them? That they wouldn't exist without your awareness? Oh, but Alex, I saw them first and I didn't even think of it. It surprised me. No. There was something within you that felt like that person was going to show up with another person. All right? Simply go to the end. There is no third person. This person would be crazy to deal with somebody else when you're available. Stay in that knowing and then just go through life, enjoy life moment by moment, knowing that it's unfolding. If you see differently, think differently, hear differently, remind yourself, no, that's bullshit. My awareness is reality. The external world, it changes moment by moment. The version of them that is in my reality right now will fade away, disappear, and be replaced with a more ideal version. I'm not changing shit. I'm choosing who I'm going to be, what I'm aware of, and it must materialize. Okay. This has worked in my life in every single way, right? From every single way, right? It has worked in my life from money, right? From changing my life. I mean, from about to be on the streets, having nowhere to live, and miraculously getting what I needed. It's worked with me, with women, with all kinds of things. I live by the law, right? I don't just teach this because you want one thing. I live by this every day. I live by this. I live the life of my dreams. So the example I can give is, everything, right? I declare how everything is going to be in my life. How it's going to be when I walk in the grocery store. How much fun I'm going to have when I get on these lives, right? So that's why I'm so passionate about it, right? Because waking up to the knowing of who you are, it dissolves the part of you that ever thought that it was a victim. It dissolves the part of you that feels powerless. Whenever I say that, I always, because a lot of comments get filtered. You go back, you look at them, and then when I post, I get comments and I see, the frustration in people that are trying to get the things that they want, and the frustration from people who just don't believe this, right? Call you out your name, call you, whatever terms they want to use, right? And I understand that these things are cries for help, because I was there not believing in this shit, thinking that this was all a scam. These people are bullshit. What do you mean thoughts create, right? Prove it. Show me, right? But no one can show you or drag you to the truth but you. And the moment that you find that second coming of Christ within you, the moment you find your internal Savior, the moment you see that everything in your reality is controlled by you, every single person is controlled, that there's nothing outside of your limits except for what you put your limits on. So yes, you can manifest as SPS, absolutely, right? The moment that you understand this, your life changes. You live better. You sleep better. You love yourself more. Everything transforms from waking up that Christ within you, right? So there's no limitation, right? Like I say, yeah, the answer is always yes to whatever you want. Everything that we say after the word but is just an excuse. It's just us arguing for our limitations, right? Do you understand that your reality, or that your awareness, your thoughts, your expectations and beliefs create reality? I think most people a lot of people these days will say yes. We'll say, okay, well, why don't you have the reality that you want? Well, yes, it does, but. We'll say but, and then we add a whole bunch of conditions, right? But my subconscious, but I was toxic, but this happened. But first of all, let's talk about specifically people. You're not changing this person. You're not changing the person. My favorite scene in the Matrix, right? Right? But it's not that simple. Exactly, right? One of my favorite quotes in the Matrix, right, is when Neo is talking to the kid before he sees the Oracle. Neo's talking to the kid before he sees the Oracle. And he says, try not to bend the spoon. That is impossible. And he was like, what? He's like, simply remember the truth. There is no spoon, right? When we're going out there and we think that this manifesting is changing somebody. Oh, I'm trying to change this person. I'm trying to change my bank account, change my parents, change my friend, change this boss. It's impossible. You can't change shit. That is just one reality, and that reality is already done. What you're doing is going within you, seeing things differently, and calling forth a different version of them. You're not going to get the same person that you were in that quote unquote toxic situation with. You're getting a new version of them. Behold, I make a new thing. I make a new thing. This is what scripture says. This is what scripture means. Behold, I make a new thing. In my Father's house are many mansions. I make a new thing, right? I go before you and prepare a place. Within you is every perspective. These perspectives are different realities. You're not changing. You're choosing a different version of you, which brings forth a different version of them. You can't bend the spoon. You cannot bend the spoon. Okay? Can't bend the spoon. The truth, there is no spoon. The kingdom is within you. Everything that you see out there is within you. It's within you first. So take your awareness off of changing them. Thought transmission. Trying really hard. If I think this and peek out there and see, they're going to think this. No. Just go within yourself. Right? Go within yourself and choose the version of you who is already that person that's aligned with them. Right? Hey, my goddess. You don't have to argue for your limitations. There are no limitations. Don't argue. Let go. Release the limitations. But what if I was a toxic? When you're clean, you are trying to cling to the limitation. You have none. You have none. What if you were the toxic one? What if this? What if that? Doesn't matter. You're picking a new version of them with a new version of yourself. All right? If we sat here, if all of us on this live sat here and we all started to list out, our limiting beliefs, and we had an argument, like we had a competition, all of us, that we could go all night listing out limiting beliefs. Those beliefs served you in the past, they no longer serve you. Let go of them. Detach them. You're in a new reality right now. Everything is working out for you right now. Whatever happened in the past, that's a completely different reality. Source has made a new reality for you right now. You are in a new reality. And this person would be a fool not to want you. This is how you have to look at it. Everything that they do is reminding them about me. It's bringing them back to me. Every step they take is bringing them back to me. I don't care what I don't care what they're doing. It's all bringing them back to me. When you start walking with some arrogance, when you start realizing that you are source, when you start realizing how powerful you are, you will speak different, think different, talk different, be different, embody a different version of you, right? The most important part of this journey is your self-concept. When we think of manifesting, we think of some magic trick. No. It is who you are that creates reality. This is not magic. This isn't, waving a magic wand and changing somebody and staying the same version of you. No, we're talking about radical embodiment. We're talking about this version of me that I have studied now, who was in alignment with the type of person that I got before. I am going to prepare the altar, set the altar on fire, and put this old version of me in there, tell it thank you, and be reborn as a different version of myself. We're talking about radical embodiment. Where I felt in the past that, it was because the situation was toxic, they had to leave, is now I know I am a god, I am a goddess, and I will only be treated as such. Everybody sees this. Nobody can resist me. This person can resist. Every single thought they have revolves around me. Anytime you're creating these limiting beliefs and you're trying to cling to them, you're making this situation more complex than it has to be. Release those things. They have no room for your new life. They have no room in your new life. Okay? No room in your new life. Radical embodiment. For sure, for sure. A lot of men in real life interested in me, but you just get insecure and run away, honestly. I wonder, so why do you think that is? Okay. Should have read the next sentence. My bad. Too afraid to see what will happen. Maybe it's a signal that you don't really want it. Perhaps. I don't know. Could be. Could be a signal that you just don't want them. All right? Maybe you have somebody specific that you want. Who knows? Who knows? Perhaps. Could be a lot of things, right? That's an interesting statement, though. It's a very interesting statement. What other questions y'all have? I can't scroll up because my shoulder hurts, so I can't reach over and scroll up. But if you did have a question, just copy and paste it. Oh, no, I'm just playing. I was being sarcastic. There's nothing wrong with my shoulder. I'm perfectly healthy. Oh, the meditation. Oh, my. I'm so glad you reminded me. I apologize. I forgot. I didn't even do any shorts today at all. I didn't do any kind of recording. I did the live earlier. The thing that is very interesting, here's the thing, right? Let me go on and speak my truth. I don't like editing talking videos. Right? I don't like editing talking videos. That's why I do live so much. It's because I know when I speak it, I don't have to go back and edit it or cut it up. It's just up. It's just there. It's gone. It's done. I can put it out there, right? That works for me. So the meditation video is going to be a little bit of work for me. So maybe I was, maybe I did wake up with the intention to do it, but I allow other things to be a little bit more important. I went and worked out, went for a walk, and then here I am, right? Here I am. But I owe y'all, so I got you. I owe you, so I got you. I do. You're right. I have to. You're right. I have to see the version of me that completed it. It'd be nice to just wake up and already have it complete because that version of it did it for me. That'd be nice. No, I'm gonna do it though. I do want to do it. I do want to do it because I'm gonna use it myself. So I'm gonna do it. That's a promise. That's a promise. I appreciate that. Yeah. I think that the lies are more authentic too, right? I think the lies are more authentic. And I catch myself thinking too much when I try to record content. When I try to record it, just like, and chop it up, I find myself overthinking and live. I'm just talking. Fuck it. You make a mistake, you just keep going. Just keep going. And then I can connect differently, right? Because why I appreciate the lives, and I truly appreciate y'all's engagement, because these turn into discussions, right? Y'all help me just as much as hopefully I'm helping y'all. But when I'm saying things, right, I might catch a comment and it'll remind me, oh, go incorporate. How do you incorporate? So I'll have these talking points, right, and I just start speaking, and I'll catch certain comments. Some of them, I'm like, okay, I can fit the answer into this part. And so I try to expand on certain parts based on the comments. And sometimes I'm in flow state, so I'm like, oh shit, I know if I look at the comments, I'm gonna get thrown off. So I don't. But then, when I do take pauses and read them, you help me to make sure that I'm being clear on certain things. All right. So if I'm just recording it, I'm speaking it, but if y'all want more clarification on a certain point, shit, on a live, it's easier for me to stop and be like, okay, let me talk about that a little bit more. Boom. So I think it just helps in all realms, and it makes the content better, because now I can go back. Well, I don't really go back and watch them, but even if somebody goes back and watches it, instead of me just zooming through a point that needed more clarification, now more clarification is there. So win-win situation. Win-win situation. All right, I guess that's the end of the questions, huh? What does that mean? Is that like a keyword, Frank? You plan on making a book with all your live notes? So, yeah. Short answer is yes. Short answer is absolutely. Hey, man. What the fuck? Y'all funny as hell. Crazy thing, I really don't even know what Frank Ocean looks like, but no, I appreciate it, man. You do it so you can help people. So, so that's the point, right? That's the point. So, if I'm saying things and it is not a clear way. So if I'm saying things and it's not in a clear way, then then the questions help. That's cool. We can talk about it. So So how to manifest without belief? Really, I just broke down belief in a different way. When we think about manifesting, I want you to think about this, right? It is your awareness that creates your reality. So what you're aware of, that Frank Ocean question, that Frank Ocean comment is still on my mind. All right. So whatever you focus on is what you're going to create, right? And so when we think of belief, typically what we believe is typically just what we see. But what we see often is just what we put our awareness on, what we keep our awareness on. All right? So do not think of belief as in a feeling per se. Think about belief in a frequency. How frequently do you continue to return to a certain state? Right? To a certain state of being, to a certain awareness that you already have something, right? How frequently do you return to it? So break down belief this way. It doesn't matter what I believe. Even saying that I don't believe something doesn't really make sense. It's just saying that I think that something else is more possible. I frequently visit a different scenario in my mind. What is belief? What is conviction? It is the expectation. What is expectation? It's frequently returning to a state, knowing that it's going to come, expecting it to come, anticipating it to come, right? Whether it is positive or negative to us. We constantly, frequently visit that thing, right? So when we talk about belief, manifesting without belief, simply understand this. It is your awareness, your consciousness that creates your reality. Belief goes a step further. What are you putting your awareness or consciousness on? Keep your consciousness there. Keep your belief there, all right? And allow it to unfold for you. If you believe that you're struggling with belief, just keep in mind, it's how frequently I visit this thing. This is why techniques like robotic affirmations, robotically affirming, are so powerful. Because you force yourself to frequently think of the certain state that you want, and you don't allow yourself to think opposite, because you are constantly revisiting what you want. Belief is truly irrelevant. It is about your awareness, your consciousness, where you are putting your mind. All right? Think of belief that way. The frequency, how frequently. Even when I say conviction, when I say wanting something from lack versus expectation, all right? You already know based on how frequently you're going to it, you're expecting it. Right? That's conviction. Frequency, how frequently you go to something, right? The how and what to do are less important than the who you believe yourself to be, and who you know yourself to be. Knowing that I am source, and knowing that whatever I visualize and believe I'm gonna get, whatever I constantly go to in my mind or my thoughts or my affirming, that is what I'm gonna receive, is way more powerful than just doing the technique by itself. Right? It's about who you are. Who you are is the most important thing. All right. All right, that's a good comment, right? You think you struggle with maintaining the conviction. So what do you believe conviction is? You'll always struggle with conviction if you think conviction is a feeling. The same way that you'll always struggle with thinking that you're worthy to get what you want if you think worthiness is a feeling. You'll always struggle with thinking that, you have to be loved to get love if you think that love is a feeling. All right? And so even with that question, right, an absolute knowing, or that statement, what is an absolute knowing? What is an absolute knowing? What is an absolute knowing? An absolute knowing is simply what you're saying in your mind. That's what it is. It's simply going back to the same story. What if you feel like you're shaky about it? It's going back to the story. No, I'm not shaky. This is what it is. Whether I feel it or not, right? So remove so absolute knowing, absolute conviction, wavering, remove the thought that it's a feeling, and simply remember that it's about the story. When we say don't waver, we're talking about don't waver in the story. When we're talking about absolute conviction, we're saying don't waver on the story, right? Whether I feel doubtful or I feel trustworthy, I still say the same thing. I still say it's all unfolding perfectly. I still say everything is working out for me. I still say my consciousness creates reality. I still say this is what I'm going to experience. What if I doubt it a little bit? Doesn't matter, I still say it. What if I feel absolutely confident about it? I still say it. What if I don't feel confident about it at all? I still say it. And guess what? All three ways that I say it are still just as powerful. Right? So hopefully that helps, right? It's story. It's always story time. Keep in mind, it's your story that creates reality. Your story travels in front of you, creates reality. So even when we talk about things like worthiness and love, what really clicked for me, and the best example I can give is a client. A client told me this. We were finally talking about it, and then she put it in a beautiful way. She said, you know what? I thought that I was, I've been trying to attract this love, and I've been trying to realize that I am love. I said, you can't realize that you are love because source is within you. And she had this pause, and she had this moment where she said, I've been completely remembering myself wrong. I thought that I was unloved because the world, the 3D world, was not validating me. I thought that I was unloved because I wasn't getting the person that I want. But because source is within me, I've always been unconditionally loved. I've been remembering myself absolutely wrong this whole time. I've been unconditionally loved. I've never been unloved. When I was looking in the mirror, right? When I was trying to get the mirror to show me that I was loved, the mirror was always saying, because you're looking for love out here, I have to give you less. But the moment that I realized, because source is within me, I'm infinite love, everything changed. And what happened after that? All of a sudden, people from the past started coming back, apologizing to her, proving to her that she had been loved all along. Who you are right now does not just impact your future, it impacts your past as well. Every version of you is living right now. There's no past, there's no future. Those are just thoughts. The version of you that has everything that you want, that's sitting on a yacht right now with 3 chocolate women, dancing for you, right? That version of you exists right now. The version of you that has nothing, it all exists right now. Who are you focused on? Where is your awareness? Do you know the truth of who you are? So even this, right, when we talk about you have to be loved to get love, you have to know that you are loved. What is the conviction? The conviction is even when I feel unloved, because source is within me, I am absolutely loved. I could be nothing less. Because source is within me, I'm absolutely worthy. I could be nothing less. What if I don't feel worthy? It doesn't matter. I still am. What if I don't know? What if I don't want to be worthy? It doesn't matter. I still am. Too bad, right? You are everything that you want to be right now. The only thing keeping us from getting the things that we want is we refuse to believe that we already are that person, and you already are. You have everything that you want. Everything that you want. Right? So when we talk about conviction and knowing, that's what I'm talking about. It's the reminder, right? Even if you don't feel divine, even if you don't feel like everything's working out, it is. Because you say so. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. Job 22:28. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be added unto thee. That's what it means right there. When you know who you are and you speak that way, when you speak the word, don't care how you feel. When you speak the word, when you're conscious of your words, reality follows. If you want to be on a yacht with 3 chocolate men around you, yeah, you can be. You can be. 3 chocolate, it could be 2 chocolate men, 1 caramel man, if that's what you like. Me, I prefer 3 chocolate women. You know what I'm saying? 3 chocolate women. You know what I'm saying? You can have whatever you want. Whatever. They can be dressed up however you want. You can have 2 of them dressed up like firefighters. You can have 1 dressed up like a police officer. Y'all can role play. You can do whatever you want. You can have whatever you want, man. Right? So just realize or just know that everything that you desire, you're already experiencing. There's a version of you already experiencing it. Right? It's called Everybody Invited. It's a party. Everybody, not everybody. Never mind, not everybody. Right. That's funny. You already have it. I already see you. You have more than 5K. I already see you splurging, throwing it. You spent that the first day. But I wish you nothing but fun, nothing but expansion on that trip, man. Let's see, how do you change your self-concept? I should have been. How do you change yourself? You change it one moment at a time, right? One moment at a time. So this is what I mean by one moment at a time. You are made new in every moment. Who you were yesterday. Okay. Matter of fact, let's get into this because this is important. How do you change your self-concept? This is so important. This is the most important thing. Your self-concept is the key. It's the key to unlocking all the rooms in the mansions, all the mansions in your Father's house. My Father's house has many mansions. How do you move through them? Self-concept. Verily, verily, I say unto thee, whatsoever you ask the Father in my name, I am, will be given to you. Okay? Will be given to you. What is the next part it says? Until now, you've asked for nothing. Until now, you've asked for nothing. Now, a lot of us, from our human perspective, we hear that and we say, no, I've been asking for 5 years, 5 weeks, 5 days. What this actually means is it doesn't matter what you asked for yesterday. It doesn't matter what you were doing last week. It doesn't matter who you were yesterday. All that matters is who you are right now. So when we talk about self-concept, okay, changing self-concept, it's not some long road. It's about who you're aware of being right now. You could be whoever you want to be yesterday. That version of you is gone. That reality is gone. That moment, think of it like this, right? Whenever you watch a TV or a movie, right? TV, movie, they're shot in what's called 60 or 24 frames per second. Frames per second. A frame is a picture. So we think you're watching this live and you see this video and you think that it is a video. You think it's smooth. What it really is, it is 24 pictures taken every second. The pictures are moving so fast, 24 of them per second, that it looks like a smooth video. Every moment is its own reality. Every moment is absolutely new. The last moment is gone. What brings it or keeps it alive is our belief that it's still there. This is what we'll do, is that we'll sit here and we'll say, we'll make arguments and we'll argue for our limitations. We'll say, but men are like this. I've experienced this. Whoever you are aware of being right now, whoever you're aware of being right now, what is going to happen, what you're going to realize, it's going to change your past and your future. Meaning, if I'm aware of being a victim right now, shit always happens like this. I will easily go back in my past and I will find ways to justify it. This is why you get out of a relationship, y'all break up, you're sad, you're begging God, please bring them back, please bring her back. You're begging. 3 years later, you find another woman, another man in love. And you say, thank God I went through that. What changed? Really, the situations did change, but what changed is your perception. Because of your perception, you view reality differently. If right now you embody a victim, you can easily find things in your past to justify it. But here's the thing. What is the difference between your past and your future? You can tell me about your past through your thoughts. You can tell me about your future through your thoughts. They're both thoughts. Your past is just thoughts. It only lives up here. I could take somebody out and we could go have dinner in the same place, same experience, same time. I'm sitting there and I'm enjoying the place. This person hates it. We're in two different realities in the same building. There are 8 billion realities in this world because there are 8 billion people, or so they say. So they say there's 8 billion people. There are 8 billion different realities. And each of those realities is changing every single moment. So how you change your self-concept is this. You detach from that old version of you. You realize that your past doesn't matter. We tend to think that our past is more real than the future thoughts because we have this illusion that they're solid. You can't prove to me that your past existed. You can speak about it, but they're just thoughts. You can't hold the past anymore. You can only imagine it. And your imagination changes. You only see the past in pictures, in still images. And then you have an emotion that brings you back to certain things in your past, and you believe that you can color it and make it colorful and make it more vibrant based on how you're feeling. How you're feeling determines how you see things. When you reminiscing about your past or reminiscing about your future is the same thing. It's creating. All you're doing with your thoughts is creating. So the moment that I say, oh, well, this is what I've been doing, this is who I've been, and I start to make the statement, I start to argue and cling on to that. Well, I have to be like this because of these things. Well, I have to be this way because I still have to reprogram my subconscious. No. You have the keys to the mansion right now. You can go to whatever perspective you want right now. You just have to make a choice. Who do you want to be? Do you want to stand in the knowing that I am source, I am prosperity, I'm absolutely powerful, I'm absolutely divine, everything is absolutely working out for me? Do you want to stand in that knowing, or do you want to say, oh yeah, I am that, but this happened, but that happened, but this happened? So if you want to change your self-concept, what you have to do is just stand in the knowing of who you are right now. What if you forget? What if you go back? Doesn't matter. Your self-concept, the declaration of who you are, should be like your age. Right? If I ask you your age and it was just your birthday yesterday and you say, oh, I'm 31 or I'm 32 today, right? And then you say, oh shit, no, I'm not. I'm not 31. Or you say, no, I'm not 32. My bad. It's just my birthday. I'm 33. Does that make you less 33 because you forgot for a second? Does it make you less 33? No. What if you don't feel good? I still feel like I'm 32. No, you're 33. You say you're 33. Does that make you less 33? No. What if you feel happier? Does that make you more 33 and closer to 34? No. You are who you are because that's what you say. Your self-concept is simply a declaration. I shall decree a thing and it shall be, right? We have to decomplicate the process, right? Uncomplicate the process. Less complicate the process. Remove complication from the process. Who do I have to be? What do I have to do? Is always the wrong question. The right question is always, who do I have to remember that I've always been? I've always been divine. I've always been source. I've always been infinite prosperity because I could be nothing less. God is within me. I can't be nothing less than infinite prosperity, infinite love, infinite abundance, infinite perfection. Everything is unfolding perfectly for me. I have everything that I want. I'm never let down. Everything, I don't care what it looks like. It's perfect. You know, what if it doesn't look right? I'm telling you, right? It would be like picking up this cup, scooping a cup full of water from the ocean, studying this cup and believing that you knew everything about the ocean. Oh, I know all the wildlife because this is a representation of everything. This is a sample size of the ocean. You only get a sample size of reality at a time, a little piece, a little smidgen, just enough to satisfy your craving. Just a little, just enough to make you feel good, to make you feel like it's real. That's all you get. You can't study this cup of water and think you know the ocean in its entirety. There are things too big in the ocean to fit in here. This is just a drop. You can't look at reality and think you know if it's right or wrong. You don't know. There is no separation between you and God. You are God. God is within you. You are within God. You can be nothing less. What if I don't want to be? Doesn't matter. You still are. You still are. You are absolutely all that there is. You can absolutely change everything about your reality like this. Not in 5 years after your self-concept gets right, not after you do this work, not after you figure this thing out, not after you get more money. When I get more money, this is going to happen. When this happens, this will happen. Then drop all that. Drop all of that. Drop all of that. I am that I am right now, no matter what. I am that I am no matter what. Right now. Right now. Anything less, you're pretending to be somebody that you're not. You're believing the illusion too much. You're walking around playing make-believe with your ego, pretending that you and your ego are the same. Your ego is not even a real thing. It's just thoughts. Your thoughts are whooping your ass. Your thoughts are whooping your ass. You're pretending not to be source, not to be divine. But what if I feel like this, or think like this, or this happened to me, or this person, or my parents did this, or my ex did. Stop arguing for limitations. Who are you right now? Let that shit go. You are all that there is. You are all that there is. Everything flows through you. Do you understand that? Do you understand how powerful you are? I want you to start walking around like this. You wouldn't even exist. This is how you should be walking around. You wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for my awareness. This should give a whole nother meaning to this. What if there's a third party? What if somebody shows up? What if this person does what I don't like? They should give a whole, they wouldn't even exist without your awareness. Your awareness. Your awareness is God. Do you see that? Your awareness is God. Your awareness is created. Your awareness is creation, right? Your faith. Faith is what? The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. This is what it is. This is your faith, man. We walk around pretending to be so small when we are so large. Pretending to be tiny when you are the absolute definition of spiritual girth. Spiritual girth. That's what you are. You are larger than you can fathom. Okay? Larger than you can fathom. Stop playing small. Remember who you are. You are absolutely divine. Okay? Absolutely awareness is creation. Creation. That's the substance. That's such a powerful way to say that, right? Faith is the substance. Faith is what is faith? Faith is awareness. It's awareness. What I place my awareness on, right? You can only place your awareness on 0.001% of reality at a time. When I put my awareness on the 3 chocolate thick women on the yacht, when I keep my awareness there, when I keep my awareness on what I want, the money, the absolute prosperity, the absolute, and I'm trying to tell you to go bigger. Put your awareness on I am source. I am all that there is. I am every aspect of the divine. I'm every aspect of the divine. And go back to this, right? What is belief? Belief is awareness. Belief is me returning, me constantly returning to what I want, refusing to believe anything different. What is belief? When I tell you, I'm about to, life was whooping your boy's ass. Supposed to be homeless. Didn't know how I was going to pay anything. You think I didn't have doubt? You think I didn't have fear? The only thing that stayed constant was the story. I am that I am. I am prosperity. It's all working out. God always makes a way. Everything is unfolding perfectly. Doesn't matter what the situation looks like. The situation might not look ideal, but the God within me is perfect. So the situation must be unfolding perfectly. My nervous system going crazy. My body is screaming at me, boy, you're lying. But the story, I did not use my feelings did not give me an excuse. My feelings did not give me an excuse to think opposite. Do not allow your feelings to give you an excuse. Don't allow what you perceive to be your past to give you an excuse. Because I've been through this, or I've seen this, or this happened, or the subconscious was this, or this teacher said that, or the only thing that matters is your awareness. Belief is awareness. The story, the explanation, what you are saying over and over and over and over again. What you are saying, the only thing real is I am. The source within you, I am. The I am awareness is the only thing real. Everything else is temporary. It fades away. The moment that you are in right now is different than the moment that you were just in. This moment is different from this moment. In every single way, completely different realities. You're changing. Everything is made new, moment after moment after moment. Even your body is changing moment by moment. Everything is brand new. Everything is changing. The only thing that is constant is I am, right? Use your I am awareness. Okay? Acknowledge that your feelings, if they're telling you what you don't want to experience, they're lying. If the situation is showing you something that is unfavorable, it is lying. This is conviction. It is the absolute refusal. It is walking around with the absolute consciousness, the absolute cojones, the spiritual backbone to look at everything and say, it's all for me. It's all for me. It is to retire. It is to quit making excuses. It doesn't get any simpler than that. Know that you are God. Know that your awareness creates reality. Refuse, no matter what you feel, no matter what you see, to speak opposite. I don't care what you see. You're not allowed to speak against what you want. You're not allowed to argue for limitations. Arguing for limitations is pretending that you are not who you are. You are source. You are limitless. On one hand, you say you're source, but on the other hand, you say, but what about this? What about it? What about that? Do not judge by appearance, but judge righteously. You can't judge anyway. You can't perceive the truth. You only see a fraction of reality. You are a human. You are you're having the human experience. You can only see life through your human, linear, third dimensional perspective. Okay? Can you have it? The answer is always yes. Anything that you say after that, whatever you say after but, it's a lie. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Drop it. It's a limitation. Release it. Right? This is what we talked about earlier, right? The story of Barabbas. When Pontius Pilate brought Barabbas, known as a robber and a thief. And then he brought Jesus, representing your I am awareness, to the people. And he said, what? What did he say? He said, who y'all want me to free? And what did the people say? They said, release Barabbas. Now, if you're just reading this any kind of way, you're going to be like, oh, release Barabbas. These people were idiots. What does this mean? What is the metaphorical meaning of this story? Barabbas represents a robber, a thief, a stealer of your truth. Your I am awareness, Jesus represents your truth, who you really are, your spiritual big brother saying, be like me. Do not be of the world. People of the earth think like the people of the earth. What does that mean? They think that this reality is real. They judge based on appearance. They walk by sight and not by faith. They react to everything out here because they are low of consciousness. Barabbas represents the robber, the adversary thoughts, feelings within your mind. Jesus is saying, let them go so that your Christ consciousness, who you really are, can be resurrected within you. This is why Jesus died on the cross. If you believe it historically or not, don't care. What this means metaphysically is that you too, no matter what situation you are in, can rise. What if the situation I'm in looks like shit? The universe was created out of nothing. Think about this. What you are sitting in right now was created out of nothingness. This universe was created out of nothingness. So this same creator that creates worlds, galaxies, is within you. Surely It can give you a couple $100 based on the situation that you are in with all of these materials around you. Surely it can fall in your lap. You don't know how quickly situations can turn. I had a client, one of the most miraculous things, they needed a large sum of money. A large sum of money. I'm not talking about 1K. I'm not talking about 10K. They needed a large amount of money. What happened? They woke up one day, had friends over the last night, found a lottery ticket, called their friends, all of them. Hey, did you leave this here? All of them said no. Went, and guess how much they won? More than they needed. You don't understand. Source has ways you don't know of. You do not understand how. Do not bring your logical mind into spiritual processes. It doesn't belong here. But what if this happens? But what if the situation looks like this? It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Stop limiting this God within you. You do not know. You don't understand. We can't. We can't understand. None of us can understand the vastness of infinite intelligence. It is infinite. We don't even know where to stop or start when it comes to counting to infinity. How do you even do that? What is the closest number you can think of to infinity? You're going to have to think to even get to that. A trillion, a trillion, I don't know, a gazillion. Like, how do you even get there? There are infinite ways to get you to what you want. Be like children to enter the kingdom. What does this mean? If a child puts on that Batman costume and you say they're not Batman, they're going to say, bitch, don't you see I'm wearing a costume? Are you stupid? You can't see I'm wearing, of course I'm Batman. I'm wearing the costume. Somebody check this guy out. He obviously can't say, this is how you have to be. What do you mean you don't have it? You just had it in your consciousness. You gave it to yourself in imagination. What do you mean I don't have it? You have it. It's yours. So all of this logic, bringing this logic in, what about this? What about that? It's irrelevant. I hope that this was more clear than usual. I know I get a little passionate on this one, right? But this is important to me because I understand how there's no situation that this God within you cannot get you from. This is why this is so important. There's no situation that is too low to be saved from. I make a way out of no way. Do you hear that? I make a way out of no way. I have weapons you don't know of. This is the story of Job. When God showed up at the end, he didn't even console Job. He didn't even console Job. He said, were you there when I created could you even start to create the galaxies? Could you create a star? So how do you know what you're looking at is not perfect? How do you know it's not unfolding for you? How do you know it's unfavorable? Take your logical mind away from spiritual processes. Oh, it must be unfolding because it looks like it's always unfolding, no matter what it looks like. This is the other client that I always talk about, right? He wanted to date with this woman. And what did he say? Man, she's not noticing me. I said, well, of course she's noticing you. You're just not noticing her notice you. It clicked. Oh, you're right. It's the story I've been telling. And then what happened right after that? She came up to him. I noticed that we've been noticing each other. Confirms your beliefs to you. You don't know how things are going to work out. Pay attention to your story. Allow it to unfold. It's all working out for you, whether you can see it or not. It's working out because you say so. Because you say so, it's all working out for you. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. The good, the bad, the happy, the sad, doesn't matter. Judge righteously. Do not judge on appearance. Judge righteously. You could see nothing and all of a sudden there is an avalanche. All of a sudden it's an avalanche. Surrender to your desire. Surrender to the God within you. Allow it to do what it does. Allow Source to show you how cold it is. Allow Source to show you how cold it is. Surrender. Surrender. Let go. Right? Just let go. Just fall back. Right? Just fall back. Gotta trust. It's all for you, right? Nobody is special. Do you understand that even in scripture, when it's talking about the Israelites and Gentiles, who are God's chosen people? The ones who understand that they are swords. The ones who understand that this power is within you. This is it. And here's another paradox about it. You can even create the reality that you want without even knowing this information. We see this all the time. Chosen, not chosen, all these things. We get caught in the semantics and the wording, and we find different ways to argue with each other. You can't even argue the Bible. The Bible is full of all these contradictions. This chapter don't make sense. But when you look at things from a spiritual eye, right? When you start to fall back and understand who you are, now all of a sudden life can unfold for you. It can unfold for you, through you. Nobody is special. If they can do it, you can do it. If they can do it, you can do it. In my reality, you all have done it already. The things that you're asking for, I already see you with them. But I don't just want the version of you in my reality to have it. I want the version of you in your reality to have it as well. Step into who you are. Step into your truth, right? Step into your divinity. Well, you're absolutely limitless. All right, more questions. More questions, man. What else y'all want to talk about, man? You know what's beautiful is one of my favorite, what's so rewarding to me, right, is when I'm speaking to somebody and it just clicks. It just clicks, right? So why I can go live so much and I can talk about the same thing from so many different perspectives. Why I can do that is because, shoot, I see him, he's with you right now. He's in your bed right now. He's in y'all's bed right now. The only thing that's keeping him from you is what? The only thing that's keeping him from you is you refuse to believe he's already there. I'll answer that one. So the hardest thing to overcome, I'll answer that one. But really, in short, it's the limiting beliefs, but I'll get right into that, right? But one of the most rewarding things, why I can say the same thing in so many different ways every day, is because every day is new, right? Every day is new, every perspective is new, and there are infinite ways for us to explain the same thing. And when it clicks one way, that's all that needs to happen. But I want to talk about things clicking because I say that a lot. Like, oh, it clicks. This is when it clicks. It clicked for this person. What truly is clicking? When I say it clicked, what I mean is that you made a choice that right now I have the information that I need and it's all about me. What is going to be the thing that clicks is you're going to realize I am the process. It's nothing outside of me that I'm waiting for to make sense. I've been creating my entire life. I have the blueprint. I'm going to decomplicate this in my mind. I'm simply going to understand I'm the creator. I'm going to look at my desires as promises. I'm going to keep my attention on them. I'm going to deny everything else with my words, with my thoughts. And then I'm going to continue to walk forward and I'm going to expect the unfolding of these things in my life. This is what clicks. It's just I'm going to be the process now. I'm going to be let me just do this in an unyielding, uncompromising way. I'm going to do this like my life depends on it. That is what clicks. But it's so rewarding because the feeling, the absolute knowing that you're not alone. This is what let's get a little bit vulnerable, right? Why do we come into this manifestation space in a deeper level? Right? On a deeper level, why do we come to it? Because a lot of people walk through life and they can't trust anybody to help them. You can't trust the church to help you, or your teachers, or politicians, or whatever, or you might even have great relationships with your parents, and you look at your reality and it's a mess, and you wonder, am I alone? And on a deep level, on a soul level, your soul knows you're not, and you really know you're not, but you feel like you are. And if this works, I'm not going through this by myself. I have an accomplice. I have someone I can trust. The average person, how many people does the average person really trust in their life? The average person does not trust many people, if any. The average person doesn't trust their parents that much. The average person probably can't even trust their kids that much to come through for them. Can't trust their friends that much, their exes, their spouses that much. So then you come into this space and it's hard to trust something invisible. But I always talk about this kind of Virgin Mary experience, right? Where you have this idea that is given to you in the darkness, right? In the middle of the night, in the middle of the day, right? And it's just you and God, and you get this idea and you focus on it. You focus on it, right? And you fall into the knowing, the assumption that it is yours because God has given it to you. And you walk through your life and people try to throw you off the path, and Herod, and tries to, stop you from getting this, and people put doubts and say, you can't get that, it's not true, yada, yada, right? And all of a sudden it's birthed in your life. You have this Virgin Mary experience where nobody else helped you, it's just you and Source. And you birth this consciousness known as Jesus within you. The second coming is within you, and you realize that you have a Savior. You realize you have somebody within you that's going to save you from every experience. You realize that you've been playing every part in Scripture. You see that the thought of failure makes no sense. The belief in failure, the constantly revisiting, well, what if it doesn't work and I have to plan otherwise, makes no sense. And you finally realize you have a partner. You have someone that knows you. You have something, you have a spirit, you have an entity within you that knows you more than you know yourself, that cares about you so much, that there are certain processes within your body that still function without your knowing. Your heart beats. This energy cares about you so much that it allows your heart to beat still. If you draw breath, you are worthy. If you draw breath, you are worthy. If you breathe consciousness, right? You don't even have to breathe you don't even have to consciously breathe. This awareness takes care of it for you. You shove your body with Doritos and hot dogs on the 4th of July. And this awareness still keeps you going. This is how much love it has for you. This is how much love it has for you. And anything that you can imagine, you can have. There is nothing more comforting in this world than that. It doesn't matter what situation I'm in. It doesn't matter what it looks like. I am that I am. I am perfect. The God within me is perfect. The situation could look crazy, but I am perfect. I am. I am that I am. The I am within me is perfect. I am perfect. My thoughts, my emotions, my body might doubt, but I am perfect. And when I come back to that awareness constantly, there's nothing that you cannot do. The world truly becomes your game. You can live the life that you want. If you want to live in a nice place, secluded from everybody, you want to have a nice evenings, you want to stay to yourself and read most of the day, you can do that. You can do whatever you want. Whatever you want. Okay? And so even to circle back, right, the biggest issue or the biggest complication that I had was just eliminating limiting beliefs, was understanding or trying to overcomplicate this process. Trying to feel like I had to feel a certain way when I was imagining things. Like I had to say things a certain way. I had to be had to be very clear with what I said. What if God doesn't understand? What if God doesn't understand? Before you were made in your mother's womb, I knew you. That's what it says. But I'm still thinking, well, what if God doesn't understand what I'm saying? It was eliminating those limiting beliefs. Okay? It was me realizing, whoa. I am the process. I am the process. So let me make this process for dummies. Let me make this work for me. And it's the only thing that I have to worry about is the story that I'm telling. And then when I add on to that, I am divine, and knowing who I am that I am, now everything can be added on to me. And then I found the true meaning of that scripture. Seek ye first the kingdom, and then everything will be added unto you. Seek ye first the kingdom. Seek ye first the knowing that source is within you. The understanding that God is within me. Add it to me within me. As within, so without. As above, so below. The Kabbalion, Hermes Trismegistus. Once I started looking at the kingdom within me, then, okay, there it is. All right, there it is. You got it, man. You can do the yacht. You can do the yacht. You can have 3 men. You can have 2. You can have all of them. Who, what is God to me? All of you. All of you are God to me. Everything, right? God is omnipotent, omnipresence. I am God. You are God. We are God. All right? God is everywhere. We are not aspects or pieces of God. We are all the wholeness of God pretending to be fragments, right? We're not chasing wholeness. We could be nothing less. God is omnipotent. All that there is, infinite intelligence, infinite consciousness, right? So you are source, I am source. One of the statements that Neville made that I always have agreed with and I constantly repeat it is, if I ask you about God, or if I ask you about Jesus, really if I ask you about any character in scripture, and you think of anything outside of yourself, then you're missing the mark, right? This is why even Jesus said, if you think that heaven is in the sky, you'll think the birds are closer than you. But the world will always kind of try to teach you this separation. Heaven and earth, right? It's a separation. Heaven is out there, earth is here. God is there, you're here. We think the temple of God is some church. That's just a building made by men. It's no different than this house. This is just no different than this apartment. It's no different than your house. It's no different than that condo. The kingdom is within you. You are the temple, right? But we think that when we go into some building made by man and they got a whole picture of somebody nailed to a cross like a bunch of psychopaths, and we think that is reverence. We think we have to watch our mouth there. The temple that was made by man, do you show more reverence in there? Or do you understand that the temple that was made by the eternal, that is you, is where you should be showing reverence? Whenever you go within the temple that is you, you are communing with God. Whatever you speak from the temple are the words of God. Where you're sitting right now, where you're standing, where you're laying down, right? That is holy ground because you are there. Your divine ass is there. You are the source. You are the absolute creator. You are the operant power, right? God is within you. You are within God. You cannot be separated. You cannot be separated. All right? That's one of the biggest illusions that we've been taught. It is the illusion of separation. When you feel separate from your source, so of course you're going to feel small. Right? Of course you're going to feel small if you think there's some God up there and he's this is not a righteous desire. Next. Test them first. Next. Right? Damn, that shit sounds terrible. God says yes to everything. The source within you says yes to everything. Right? We are the church, for sure, for sure. For sure, right? I appreciate that question, my brother. I don't know if I would say I recommend reading the Bible. I would say I recommend reading any spiritual text that resonates with you, right? So if you feel called to it, sure. But I'll tell you like this, right? I read the Bible when I was younger a lot. Well, not a lot, but I did read it cover to cover. And then I went away from it for a while. But it wasn't until I had an experience that allowed me to read the Bible differently. And until I had that experience, I just was it just was like a fairy tale to me. It was like, you telling me this man put his staff, he put a piece of wood in the Red Sea, and he split it, and not only did they get through, but these Egyptians were so dumb they followed them, right? Like there were all kinds of questions about the text. So once I started reading it metaphysically, right, which I had a lot of help because I had a lot of outside. I just had a lot of, the God within me really started to help me read it different. Now I saw it. But I would say this, man, anybody that asks me if they should read anything, I'm always going to be like, hell yeah, go read whatever pulls it to you. Because the same way that, Source speaks to me a certain way, Source might speak to you a different way. And the only thing that's important is getting a more clear understanding. So I'm not going to recommend one over the other. I think they're all saying the same shit in different ways. But if you feel called to it, sure. I would think, but if I had to recommend a specific story or specific text, I'd probably recommend Job or Exodus. Job or Exodus. Old Testament, but very metaphysical, extremely metaphysical stories, right? When you talk about the Israelites fleeing from Egypt and the seven plagues representing like the 7 deadly sins, but also the 7 plagues being like reminders, like sources constantly showing us miracles, giving us the things that we want. Yet we flee and we're in that wilderness experience and we look back like, well, what are you going to do now, God? We should have went back to slavery, right? It's a very metaphysical. Even the staff of Moses representing like a spiritual awakening, a Kundalini awakening, right? Representing the Kedushas. We think of it like Moses was carrying a staff, when really you can think of it as his spine, right? The spine, that Kundalini, the eternal flame, that Holy Spirit, that dragon energy rising within you, right? And because even Moses was transformed. He had a stutter, he was transformed, right? So you see all these things, the burning bush representing your I am awareness, untouched by fire, by whatever circumstance is happening. So, it could definitely open up some things. And then the story of Job, how I explained it, because I did a discussion on it, where think of every single person how I look at scripture is every single character in scripture is representing you. So we think of Job talking to all these people, but really Satan just represents your opposing thoughts, right? The 3 friends representing different aspects of Job's consciousness, right? Arguing for his limitations, trying to bring logic into spiritual processes. The wife representing the marriage to the 3rd dimensional reality. The 4th friend representing his higher self and then talking to God, right? It's like, once you start reading the metaphysics, it just flips this light switch. You're like, okay, this makes more sense, right? It's telling me how to get the shit I want. So, I appreciate you. All right, but yeah. Those are I would also recommend. I would recommend Genesis, specifically Adam and Eve, because Adam and Eve, Genesis even represents childbirth, right? Falling from the Garden of Eden. There are lots of Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve, right? You can talk to 100 people, get 100 different explanations. They'll talk about it from the aspect of like the Anunnaki. They'll talk about it, but I like it, and I did a breakdown of like 7 different ways to interpret Adam and Eve. But like, if you start looking at it, like the book of Genesis being a book of birth, and the book of Revelation being a book of like rising in consciousness, you'll see that the whole scripture is like, Genesis is your birth, Adam representing your masculine or your conscious mind, Eve representing the feminine energy or the subconscious mind. Eating of the fruit of knowledge of good and evil just is a birth, a descending into duality where we are the ones who choose right and wrong. We are the ones who say something is negative or positive, right? So even that teaches you a lot metaphysically. But yeah. That's what I'll stop right there, because I don't want to. If you have the hunger, I want you to get your own interpretations, but that's what I would recommend. You feel me? Those three. It was. You're right. You're right. So yeah. But this is the thing. Most of the Bible was taken from other spiritual texts and renamed and reworded, right? We had the Council of Nicaea. But we also have to understand the purpose of parables and the purpose of stories. The purpose of stories is just to containerize information. My phone about to die. Right? The purpose of stories is just to... Oh, shit. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. Yeah, this will work till it come back on. All right, the purpose of stories is just to hold or containerize information, right? So if you're speaking to a child, you're going to give them a parable. This is why Jesus spoke in parables, right? He's speaking to spiritual children. If you believe it was history or not, the reason why he's spoken in parables is because you're talking to children. Okay, so if you're speaking to a child, you're going to tell them this story about the tortoise and the hare. And they're going to say, but the real meaning of this is that patience sometimes wins. And then you're going to go farther and you're going to say, but a different meaning when they get older is this. So you're going to keep on adding layers of comprehension on top of it, right? So think of all scripture like that. All right, so we have this Council of Nicaea that took spiritual texts, and what the purpose of this council was to settle theological debates. How terrifying is that? For the first of all, let's acknowledge what that means. Imagine having a government take spiritual text and rewrite it. That would be, you know what I'm saying? You already know. So even though that was done, and a lot of things in the scripture are aligned to like Roman law, right? That's why if you even look at the Western world, what you'll see is that our concepts of justice tie into biblical justice, right? Because this biblical justice, which was aligned to Roman law, is the same, like the Western world, right? We believe in punishment without reform, right? Right. Our judicial, our legal system believes in no reform. No reform. Lock their ass up, right? So a lot of these things are transferred over or translated over. But still at the core, you can't just wipe away the truth, because you still have to pass it to certain people, the quote unquote initiated. So you're still going to keep enough information so that if I'm just reading it, for history, you'll see right now, if you're just reading it for history, you can have how many different religions read scripture and interpret it differently. How many people are always arguing about the wording of scripture, the semantics, the actual literal part of it, all right? It just causes confusion and separation. Who is the author of confusion and separation? That's another story though. But if you look at it on a deeper level, what you'll see metaphysically is that it still has lots and lots of truth in it. Lots and lots of truth in it. So that's what I would say, man. You're still going to find truth in everything. So, yeah, for sure. Because so we really have to seek the truth in all kinds of things, because the author of misinformation is what we quote unquote call Satan, right? So however you want to take that concept of Satan, whether you believe it's real, false, whatever, that is where or the author of confusion, right? The author of confusion. Because even if you read scripture from a very literal sense, it's a lot of confusion. how come this God in the Old Testament was willing to wipe everybody out? Let me just start over. Let me just take them out and start over, right? And make something new. We had Sodom and Gomorrah, we had the flood. Jesus Christ. Right? Damn. It's supposed to be all loving. So you have lots of contradictions. So you have to kind of weave through the word, man. You have to weave through the word. But yeah. Because even, I mean, when we think about here, this is. Let me give an example. How much of what you hear can you truly believe? All right. Let's even think of something like this. Okay. We've all seen a map. We've all seen a map of the United States. But how do you really know that it looks like that? A lot of that is trust, right? You've never been high enough in a plane to where you could see the shape of the states. You don't know what it looks like, right? The world could look completely different than you think. But we're under this assumption, a lot of it, because we've been told things since we were young, in such a convincing way through the system of school that we've bought into a lot of things. But how much of what you believe can you actually prove? Even if you get in a plane right now, as high as the plane can get, you can look down, you can't see shit. You're still not high enough to see something. You're still not that high to see. So how was this drawn? How were things drawn? How do you know that this perfect line makes, how do you know where the states end? So we do base a lot of things on trust. Once we get to a point where we start looking at that and making this decision, is this worth investigating or not? If it is, okay, then let me go down that path and let me find out the truth for myself. Very important decision to make, is to start trying to find that truth for ourselves. Because if our expectation, and I say that because, and I use that example of the world because it's just an interesting thing that there's really nothing that we can do to prove or disprove it. Like we can't prove or disprove it. Right? The same with the moon landing. Like I can tell you right now that I don't believe that we ever landed on the fucking moon. In a time that we barely had color TV. I don't even think we had color TVs at that time. You mean to tell me they blasted off on this rocket, it fell apart going through some ozone layer. They landed on the moon, they jumped out, planted a flag, hopped around a couple times, got back in this little mini pod and flew back to Earth? You know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to believe. I can barely keep phone signal under a bridge, but they walkie-talkie back to the Earth from this moon way. It's very difficult for me to believe. It's very difficult for me to believe a human being would even volunteer for that dummy mission. Like, you mean you gonna strap me in this rocket? What if I get stuck out? Whether you believe that you know, that there is space out there or not, whether you believe that the moon is out there or not, you're not finna strap me in some rocket and pump me out there and imagine getting stuck out there. Imagine it's beyond. Anyway, that shit gonna have me sounding like a fucking comedian when I start talking about this shit, because it just blows my mind. But this is the thing, right? When you feed a bunch of people information, right? It's almost this thing that if I give enough people the information, people think it's true, right? Like, if you reach enough people your information, then people will buy into it and be like, okay, cool, yeah, absolutely, we landed on the moon, and we've never been back, right? And so it's long story short, it's absolutely inconceivable. Boy, that was a perfect pour. perfect for it. But there's lots of things that are very interesting that we've been taught about, that we've been told. That's very it's very, very incredible, right? Even the pictures of Earth, it's as if we say things like, oh yeah, we have satellites, and when we make these images of the Earth, and we think about a picture where the Earth is so small, right? Okay, yeah, we about to have an overthinking session right now. So if you get into a plane and the plane goes pretty high, it goes over the clouds, right? You still can only see a little bit. Like you can't look down and see, oh, the Earth looks curved now, or whatever the case may be. Okay? Can you even fathom how high you would have to be, how far up you would have to be to take a picture of the Earth? And I usually have these kinds of conversations all the time, like, and it's always funny to have conversations with older people, because it's like, especially like some of my parents' friends and stuff, they can't imagine. Well, a lot of people can't imagine. They can't imagine that what they see in this book could be a lie. They can't imagine. They're like, and take me as a joke, and I'm like, you can. I get it. It's funny. I used to think that this was funny too, but I really want you to think about this. How far away from the Earth do you have to be to take a picture of it? No, but oh well, the pictures they stitched multiple things away. I don't give a damn how you try to explain it. How far away do you have to be to even start thinking of stitching pictures together of the entire Earth? It's incredible. It's incredible to think that we just buy into that shit, man. I refuse to believe. Unless I get into a rocket ship and they take me to the moon, I refuse to believe we've been there. And I would never get on it, so I guess I'll just never believe it. So who was the commander? There was a commander, right, that before he passed away, he had released a bunch of tapes. I can't even remember his name. But he was talking about the ice wall. And he was saying that there were certain beings that had the capability to get from one end of the Earth to the other in a blink of the eye, right? Like they could, boom, could get there in the blink of the eye. And so I'm not doubting the technological capabilities of us in the future, or other civilizations, other beings, other entities outside of here, but I for damn sure am doubting the capabilities of humanity and Earth in like the 1970s, whenever they said that we landed on there. I'm for damn sure doubting our capabilities then. We didn't even have Wi-Fi back then, but we got on the moon. We had landlines. Dial tones. Boys had a black and white TV with a big ass antenna on the top. 3 channels. And all of them were fuzzy. Okay. Yeah. All right, what other questions y'all got, man? Y'all want to talk about anything else? I'm not in rambling mode no more. Any questions on anything, all right? We can talk about anything. We can talk about relationships. We can talk about manifesting. We can talk about conspiracies. We can talk about, shoot, really anything. I guess if I don't want to answer the question, I'll just ignore it. I'll just play. Matter of fact, let me check good old Instagram. Thank you. Voices within the mind as guides. What is my viewpoint on telepathy? I think it's more so our natural state of being is to. So I have lots of thoughts on it, right? So this is how we communicate all the time. A lot of times we just don't perceive that we're doing it. We have feelings, at least about certain things, about people, about situations. Now, what also happens is this, right? I have to answer this very thoroughly. Your natural state of being is to communicate through telepathy. Now, what often happens to most people is we get cut off from our spiritual gifts because our consciousness is always under attack. What typically happens is this. You have to understand that you have a solar plexus within you. Your solar plexus is one of your lower 3 energy centers. Your solar plexus is in alignment with burning fat. That's why it's called solar, sun, burning fat. But it's also in charge of your intuition, your gut feeling, which is also linked to your ability to feel things, your ability to hear and perceive other people, right? Now, if I wanted to shut your solar plexus off, what I would do is I would contaminate your food. I would make you eat a lot of heavy food, a lot of processed food. I would put chemicals in the meat. I would spray the pesticides all over the plants. And what this would do was this would make it more difficult for you to tap into your intuition. It would throw your solar plexus off. So you often see if people have a weak diet, it's very difficult for them to communicate through telepathy. It's very difficult for them to even tap into their intuition. Now, if your solar plexus is off, think about it like this, because it's going to help you burn fat. It's going to help you tap into your intuition. You have fat in your body, and one of the jobs of fat is it traps toxins. When you eat a bunch of shit, it traps toxins so it doesn't get released into your bloodstream. Another purpose of fat spiritually, because there's physical and spiritual components to everything. Everything is multidimensional. Nothing is just singular, right? Another aspect of having excess fat is that it stores trauma. Even a natural human thing to say is, oh, if you've been through a breakup, you go through a difficult time, what do we say? Go work out. Go to the gym, work off some energy, work off some of that pain. Why is that? Because even intuitively, we understand the meaning of this. So you have fat that stores trauma, and it also stores toxins. This is why even if you start fasting, you start burning a lot of fat, or you start getting hungry, what do people say? I'm hangry. It's a lot of emotions and problems and trauma being released that you are made to confront. When you fast, all of a sudden you have more things within you that you can confront, right? Very spiritual thing. So if you're not really watching what you eat, if you have your solar plexus out of alignment, what's going to happen is you can become a person who believes they're moving off of intuition, but they're really moving off of trauma or programming. This is how important your diet is. This is how important moving your body, exercise, and being in the sun is. All right? Because if your solar plexus, the sun within you, the heating center of your body is off, you are constantly going to walk around thinking that you're moving off of intuition when really you're just moving off of delusion. And here's another example of why moving off delusion is so terrible for you. It's so unhealthy. A lot of us will, and we're going to circle back into manifesting. A lot of us will say, oh, I just had a feeling they were doing this, or I had a feeling that they were cheating. Okay, sure. Perhaps, maybe you did. What it typically is, it's actually your delusion creating a reality for you. At first it was good, it was lots of sex, the lust was flowing, you and him, you and her were absolutely in harmony, and then you started thinking about your ex and all those people in the past, and they did something that reminded you of them. Then your mind started spinning, and you said, what if they're doing this? What if they're doing that? We haven't been talking that much. Well, what about their free time? Yada, yada, yada. And then they do something else, and it confirms it, and you say, I knew it. Let me look closer. Then you start thinking more and spiraling more and thinking of the negativity. You're focused on it. You want to catch them. Then all of a sudden, the version of them that aligns with what you want shows up. And you say, I knew it was intuition all along. No, it was just your delusion. You manifested. You were the creator of this reality, right? So take care of your body. Take care of your body. Right, watch the food that you eat. Right, fast. My girl Leslie, the goddess, came on here the other day and was talking about fasting. It's important. It's very, very important to fast. Right, because no matter what you eat, you're going to have certain things that get in your body. Everything is basically sprayed down now. It's very rare. Unless you're growing everything from seed to finish, you are. Shit, even seeds, right? You're going to get shit in them. You're always going to have certain things, right? So give your body time to heal, right? Whether it's a juice fast, water fast, dry fast, whatever the case may be, you want to do certain things. You want to do certain things to make sure that your body is operating optimally. Your brain is also operating, properly. It could be true or a delusion. It could be. But most of the time, in the situation that I explain, in that state of events is probably delusion. Now, it could be. No. Now, at the end, of course it's going to be true, right? At the end, by the time it's made manifest, it's going to be true. But how long do one day a week. I do 1 day a week at least. I do a water fast every Sunday. And then every now and then I do a longer fast. 2-3 days here and there, sprinkle them in. I forgot the protocol that Leslie was talking about. If she's watching, hopefully she'll say it. But she said I think she said once a week, and then every quarter, I believe, she did an extended fast, which I think is a cool protocol. I often would just jump into a long fast for no reason, just because I want to tap in spiritually or challenge myself, right? But fasting is one of those things that reminds you how powerful you are, reminds you how dependent we become on food. You can literally stop eating right now, just drink water, and survive for a very long time. And when I say survive, I mean thrive. You can go weeks and weeks. Straight water. Well, depending on how much fat you got, but it's gonna just make you feel good, right? The hardest, the most difficult fast, the most intense fast that I did was just a 10-day dry fast, right? No food, no water. At the end of the 3rd day, I saw the reason why science are like, if you don't drink or eat for 3 days, you'll die. Of course, that's not gonna happen. You're not gonna die. But it felt like it. I felt like it, right? But the 4th day, I felt incredible. 5th day, even better. 9th and 10th day were very, very difficult, right? Very, very difficult. I was fantasizing. On the 10th day, I had built a cart. I had built a online grocery store cart. I was just fantasizing, fiending about it. I can't wait to eat this apple. Kill that motherfucker, right? But I started off, then I broke it on juice. Then I went to smoothies. Then I went to fruit. And then I got back on fruits and vegetables, right? But that one was tough. But that one unlocked a lot for me spiritually. Water fast, I've done very long water fast. I've done a 40-day water fast. A couple years ago, I did a 40-day water fast. Really, really tapped in. Dreams were I'll tell you what, the 10-day dry fast was more difficult because I just felt like shit. Those last 2 days were tough. And then the second and third day were very, very difficult, right? In the middle, I was cool. But those last two, in the first and the second and the third, with the water fast, after about 6-7 days, it was all right. It was good. But that one was more spiritually transformative, right? Like I had better dreams, more visions. I tapped in on my meditation. That one was cool. That one was really good. But then again, like when it comes to fasting and a competition, do what feels good to you. Just know that when you do it, one of the byproducts of this is you're just gonna realize you're really not as dependent on food or external substances as you think. You'll realize how capable of a machine your body is. And you'll realize how your body will rebuild your composition so quickly. So quickly. Right? 10 days. I was just talking about you, Leslie. I was saying you had a protocol that you did. I was saying if you were on, if you could write it. I think you did like one day a week, and then you did like a couple of days a quarter. Something like that. I tried to recap it, but I'm sure I said it wrong. But yeah, it was the 10-day drive. So even if let's say you're trying to change your body, you want your body to look a little bit better, right? Fasting, and of course, disclaimer, before I get starred or banned or something or reported, please check with your doctor before starting a fast, right? But it'll change your body composition. It'll change the way that you think. It'll change how long did you say you did per quarter? Did you say like 3 days or something per quarter or every quarter? Gotcha. I do want to. 72. Yeah, okay. 72 every quarter. That's what it was. Gotcha. 72. A solid 3 day every quarter, man. That's a good protocol. Right? Whenever I was doing the very extent, it wasn't even because I wanted a true breakthrough. They were more so challenges, and they turned into spiritual things through it. It was more so me just testing my limits and pushing my mind, right? That's one thing that I constantly do, is I constantly want to push my mind. But I think any protocol that you get on with fasting, even if it's intermittent fasting, you're just going to give your body time to breathe. You're going to give your body an opportunity to use its own energy to clean itself out. And once you do that, you're just going to feel better. The joy that you feel, I'll tell you, there's this high that you feel, like the fasting high. You feel it sometimes when you're fasting, or I do feel it sometimes when I'm fasting. But what I really love is after completing a difficult fast, that first meal. Like the first time you drink a smoothie afterwards, or a juice after, or you eat an apple, and all of a sudden you feel so light. You feel so happy. The food feels so good. It tastes so good, right? You just, the energy is unmatched. You just want that feeling to last. You feel elated with life. It's, yeah, I love that feeling. Right? And the absolute clarity, yeah. The mental clarity, right? Because even when your body is running off of ketones, so when it burns fat, it starts releasing those ketones. When your brain is running off ketones, you're sharper. It's a very clean feeling, like a very clean brain energy, where you mellow out, right? You get calmer, and you get more focused. It's a great feeling. Great feeling. Just want to be able to tone out. Yeah, man. After them long fasts, like everything just tastes like gold. Eat a watermelon, it tastes like, man, or some cherries. What I usually like, I will put cherries, like cherries in the freezer, and eat those after I fast, and I eat some cherries, man. Cherries and watermelon tastes so good. Right, oh, for real. You develop a different relationship with taste. Right, it does get mundane when you're eating all the time, and that's why. And even the nature of food, when we start eating like processed food and food with a lot of sugar, it messes up our taste bud. We forget that. You know what I'm saying? We were given fruits and fruits for a reason. That's as sweet as we need them to be. All right. But that feeling of biting that watermelon after a fast, man, is just, yeah. Feels so good. Nah, for real. Hey, for real. It does feel like we're eating just to eat. And I will, that's one thing I'll say. If you ever find yourself just sitting around and you're just opening the fridge and just eating something, it's like, we do it out of boredom, we do it out of habit. It's a reflex, right? We even do it out of stress. And one thing that you'll notice when you fast is you might feel hungry, but then you have to ask yourself, is my body actually craving food, or is the hunger just in my mouth? Like, do I just want to chew something? Right? I don't even want to say that. It's going to be a pause moment, right? Is it just do I just want to chew something? All right? Or is it my actual body that's hungry? What you realize is most of the time, your body's not even hungry. Your body's fine. Even what we think is a hunger pain is just your body digesting some old food. We're really addicted to food, man. Most of us are addicted to food. We are a people that is addicted to food. We're addicted to sex. We're addicted to thinking negatively. These are our addictions. And those three addictions, what chakras do they have to do with? All three. When you're stuck in the lower three energy centers, that's why we call this reality the 3D, the third dimension. Your lower three energy centers, if you're stuck in there, it's considered stuck in hell. Stuck in hell. Stuck in the lower three energy centers. When you're in the upper three, really the upper four, you're in heaven. State of mind. We're very addictive beings, right? We're in positively and negatively. In some spiritual texts, they consider Earth to be hell. In certain spiritual, so the 3D represents hell, and why it represents hell, the lower three energy centers, being stuck in them, is because those lower three keep you stuck on this reality. They keep you glued to the illusion, right? They keep you glued to the illusion. So if I'm stuck in my root center, I don't feel free. I don't feel safe, right? And a lot of us are made not to feel safe. We're always thinking negatively. Why? Because of the programming on the TVs and on social media. the news, all these outlets, the music, it's constantly having us question our safety. Second, your sacral, sex. You're constantly bombarded with sexual images, all right? This is why the porn sites are free. And then third is the solar plexus, food, right? So when you're stuck in these lower three energy centers, considered hell, right? Now, when your heart's open, that center is what? That center is in alignment with, we tend to think feeling good, but what it's really in alignment with is gratitude and righteousness and integrity. When you walk in integrity, when you walk in righteousness, your heart center is open. When I speak of righteousness, I'm not speaking about the laws that the church told you to follow. When I say righteousness, I'm talking about like Jesus was talking about, like spiritual teachers talk about, right? Righteousness means in alignment with what you want. You see everything as ideal. You're not judging things. Everything is working out for you, right? That's just what sin is. What is sin? The opposite of being righteous is sin, sinning against yourself, missing the mark, not walking in alignment with your truth, with your higher self, right? So you want your heart center open, walking in righteousness, having gratitude, because gratitude is your natural state of being. Next is your throat center. If your heart center is open and you're walking in righteousness, you know what you want. You're speaking righteousness. Your speech should be in alignment with righteousness. Your inner vision, your third eye, you should see what you want. You should see reality as you want it to be. So when these three things are in alignment, now you're actually creating the reality that you want. All right, so you want those three centers. Oh, and then your crown, of course. But your crown, I like to talk about that from a more metaphysical way. All right, your crown center being, we can call it the mind or seat of the soul, but we can really say whenever you open up that crown center, then it really unlocks some of your spiritual gifts. You know, clairvoyance, clairsentience, all those things, communicating with your higher self, all those things, even more, right? And then also the very interesting thing about the crown center, and I talked about Moses' staff a little bit earlier, representing the Caduceus. Caduceus, as you know, is, or if you don't know what the Caduceus is, if you've ever seen like a ambulance or like that symbol for nurses, it's a staff, and it's got the like the bead ball on the top, and it has the two serpents going up the sides, and it has the wings. It actually represents spiritual enlightenment, right? The staff represents your spine, serpents, kundalini energy, the rising of your energy, the masculine, feminine, positive, negative, yin and yang, rising up, right? Because everybody has masculine and feminine within them, positive and negative. We're not talking about men and women or right and wrong. We're talking about pure energy. The bead on the top of the staff represents your third eye. The wings represent the opening of your crown center, spiritual enlightenment. This is what the Caduceus represent. This was the staff of Hermes Trismegistus, who is also known as Enoch, also known as Thoth, also known as the Greek god Mercury, right? A man of several names, big teacher. Good old Hermes Trismegistus. Oh, man. Oh. All right. No power outside of the present moment, right? Within the present moment is everything that we need. Right now is the moment that is catapulting us, propelling us to exactly where we want to be, right? right now. Right now. Damn, it's almost midnight here. The fireworks have died down. All right, any other questions? It's the last call for questions. You didn't see the fireworks? I showed the fireworks. Oh, you must have joined late. I showed the fireworks. There was some right behind us that were going off. There were about 9 different displays. It's pretty beautiful. I still hear some, but they might be on the other side over there. They might be out that window. But it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful evening. Yeah, it was pretty nice. I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it.
Remember I told you.
Oh man, hey, you know what? It's always so crazy how the moment you set your mind to something and then you just go about your damn business, how quickly it shows up in your life. How quickly it shows up in your life. You ever think about that, right? How come you can just think of somebody and be like, I wonder how they're doing. I wonder how this person is doing. And then you just drop it, and all of a sudden, here they come calling your phone. What is the difference between that and that person you want hitting you up? What is the difference in the state of mind? I want y'all to start studying, because what you're going to realize is that if you really pay attention to your life, you are manifesting things all the time. Your life is just a whole bunch of manifestations. How come certain things you just do it absolutely effortlessly? You just send a huge ball of energy somewhere, and now it just returns to you and slaps you in the face. Other things you believe you have to do all these long processes, these long drawn out processes for. Why? What is the difference? Have I ever thought of the meditation video? I'm gonna do one. I am gonna do one. Probably tomorrow-ish. But I'm glad you said that. It's just another confirmation that I need to do that. Right. What is the difference in your state of mind between saying, I wonder how this person's doing. I guess it'd be nice to talk to them. Oh, well. What is the difference between fireworks going off again out there? What's the difference between that and letting go? You know what? And I would say what it is, but I can't, because it's going to be very individual to each person. But that's a very good exercise to do. It's when you catch yourself stepping into this space, and then you start realizing, I am manifesting everything. And then there's certain things that you do quickly, certain things you don't. What is the difference? Because nothing is larger or smaller to source. It's all the same. What is the difference? This is why it's very important for you not to just focus on one thing, but start being the creator of everything. The examples I always give: before you walk into the restaurant, do you say how it's going to be? Do you say, I'm gonna have great service? I'm gonna try some great food. It's gonna be cooked to perfection. I'm gonna have a great conversation. I'm gonna give a big tip, great service. Or do you just walk in blindly, and then whatever happens, you react at the end? Keep in mind, whether you're declaring at the beginning or reacting at the end, they're both creative acts. You're creating in both instances. So start using every opportunity to create. And what you'll see is you'll start refining your process. You'll start realizing how this has been simple. I've been overcomplicating it. It's all mine. I simply have to declare it, right? But this is going to give you case studies. You're going to become the creator of your reality for real. Not just with one thing, but with everything. Everything. When you go to the bar, do you say, oh, you know what? I'm going to be approached by somebody we're going to really connect tonight. How do you speak before you go into places? All right. How do you speak before you walk into places? It can become frustrating. I feel that. It's so much conditioning, right? So much mixed messages. But once we start to really simplify this process and study ourselves, you'll be the best. We're all going to be the best people to teach ourselves how to create. Yes, I would absolutely come to a destination wedding out of the country. I expect the invite. I'll be there. I will be there. I'm gonna be there. Just come on. Let's. Yes, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. If any of y'all get married, I expect to be invited. When y'all get married, I expect to be invited. Coming into manifest is hard because it's hard sometimes. I really have to focus on my thoughts often. So, yes and no. Yes, you do have to focus on your thoughts, but this is how I like to put it. You are a consciousness. You are infinite consciousness. You are a conscious being. The only point of consciousness is to be conscious of something. We've spent so much of our life being conscious of everything outside of us, when the reality is that everything is a projection from within you. The kingdom is within you. Everyone is you pushed out. As within, so without. As above, so below. So the moment that we realize that, we're going to understand that there's nothing to be conscious of except for self. So yes, on one hand, we can say, yeah, it could be difficult because I have to focus on all my thoughts. We've been focusing on everything but ourselves. We've been focusing on everything but ourselves, everything but our thoughts this whole time. Now the simple switch is now, instead of focusing on everything out there, I focus on everything in here. I focus on me, my state of being, my awareness, my thoughts. And as I do that, my reality follows. I no longer look out in reality, put my focus on there and hope it changes. I keep my thoughts on myself, my focus on myself, my awareness, my consciousness on myself. And as I change, reality must. So yes, you do have to be aware of your thoughts. But it's not that it's a big, it is a, I don't want to say it's a big change. It's a change. But the alternative, right? The alternative is being aware of everything else. And exactly, right? Consciousness is not, when we think of the mind, we think of the brain. The brain is your tool. The brain is the tool, right? There is one mind. This is why when you hear Eastern monks speak, they will say one. The example I always give, one must feed the body. This is the reference to source, to one source. It's not I have to feed the body. Like when we speak, we say, I'm finna go eat. But they will say, one must feed the body. One must bathe the body. One must take care of the body. One must exercise the body. Why? It's the consensus. It's the acknowledgement of the truth of who we are. We are one mind pretending to be fragments. You are not an aspect of the divine, an aspect of consciousness trying to become whole. You are wholeness pretending to be a fragment. You are not on a journey to be healed and whole. You could be nothing less. You could be nothing less. Nothing less. You are simply buying into the illusion of the ego, pretending you're less than you are, right? Pretending we are less than you are, but you are all that there is. You are all that there is. Right? So the moment you become conscious of you, you place your awareness on yourself. Now all of a sudden reality must bend to your will. You acknowledge that you are reality and reality must change. This is why looking for signs and asking the question, what should I look at or not look at, or what if things don't look right? Or, that's why those questions are absolutely irrelevant. That's why those questions mean nothing. Reality, what you see out there means nothing. Who you're being means everything. Right? You can manifest anything because you are everything. There is no separation, right? The illusion is believing that it's me and my mom, me and that woman, me and this bank account, right? It's just me. It's just I. It's just one. It's just we. It's simply I. Like the I, and the only thing real is I am. I am everything. I am you. I am me. I am we. I am all. There is no separation. So me focusing on things out there, right? Thou shalt have no other God, right? I am God and there is no other. I am. Your I am awareness is all. There is one mind. There is no other. I shall have no false idols. When we start thinking of everybody as separate, we naturally create these false idols. I look out there and I get fixated on this person. And I start making myself small, thinking that they're the creator. I start trying to change them. I start thinking that I'm doing a process to change. You're not changing them. You can't change them. Do not bend the spoon. Do not try to bend the spoon. That's impossible. Don't try to change the person. It's impossible. Realize the truth. There is no spoon. There is nothing separate from you. There is no person out there. It's all within you. And once you understand that, the game changes. I am that I am no matter what, right? Yeah, nothing is greater than I am. Nothing is greater than I am. I am. I am, right? That's why even the concept of things like thought transmission, it's you're not giving yourself credit for who you are. There is no thought. Thought transmission is a concession to the greater truth that there is only one mind. What I think is what they think. What I believe is what they believe. Point blank period. I don't have to try to do anything. Who I'm being calls forth another version of this person. We are one. We are one in the same. There is no separation. No separation. All right, let me write that down to make a sleep tape too. It's a great idea. I gotta turn the lights on. I put all my shit in the backpack. Yeah, I would just go back and watch this, but I don't really go back and watch my stuff. Thank you. That's a good point. I could just reference the time. That's a great point. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Appreciate you. I love the daily affirmations too. They just start the day off. And I actually do put in some time to thinking about them. Because I don't know how y'all do affirmations, but I always recommend this, right? To make the affirmations, speak them in a way that really resonates with you, right? So instead of, I am prosperity, right? I am a divine vessel of the infinite, and I reflect every aspect, every quality of the infinite: prosperity, abundance, worthiness, wealth. You would say things like that, right? To really make you feel it. You want the affirmation that you speak to be like a lyric that you hear and you say, oh, I like that. Oh, I felt that, right? That's how you want your affirmation to be. That's how I like my affirmations to be. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. Truly. I try to teach the best I can. So I appreciate you for saying that. Thank you. And ask yourself how. Okay. Okay. I can see that. I can see that. I'm trying to think of how. I might try that. I like to speak them and just assume that they are what they are. They are true. But I already have the assumption that everything that I speak is true. Everything that I speak about myself is true. Which is really beyond a knowing, right? It just is what it is, right? Whatever we say about ourselves is true. It just is what it is. I feel you. I feel you. All right, y'all. Appreciate you. Thank you. I don't have to ask for what I already am. Honestly, why I do these, I just enjoy this. I enjoy saying things that I wish I had heard before, right? And knowing that there's other versions of me out there listening to this and it's helping them in some way. That's what really gets me going, you feel me? So we're all in this journey together, right? And it's nothing more rewarding. We provide because we are provided for, right? You provide things to others because everything has been provided for you to you, because you have an abundance, because source is within you, because source provides my every need, gives me everything I need, so I can give that to whoever. All right, so yeah, I like this. It's fun. What is my North Node? See? Yeah. I can't tell you that. It's a secret. I'm just playing. I can't say it. But don't make me lie. All right, y'all, let's end this with some affirmations. I know it's midnight here. I don't know what time it is though, but I hope that y'all have a safe rest of your night, whatever you do. A safe rest of your night. You don't have any resistance. Go to the end. Tell the story that you want, right? I'm going to tell you the simple process. Know that you are source. Know that your thoughts create reality. Go to the end and look at everything that you see as evidence that what you have imagined is working out. Point blank, period. Do not waver on that. See the truth of who you are. The truth of who you are is that you are divine. The truth of the situation is it is what you have declared it to be. There is no resistance. Everything is working out for you. All right? Everything is working out for you. I would make a Discord. I've done a couple like groups, but more so like for men groups, right? And no, you shouldn't be saying resistance at all. You shouldn't be saying resistance at all, because you don't. It's only what you decree. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be, meaning you make the rules. If you say that you have resistance, you do. So always speak the truth. Don't pretend to be anything less than divine, anything less than the creator. If you catch yourself speaking about things like that, like I have resistance or I have to reprogram something or it might not be working, those are lies. Oh, it doesn't look like it's working out right now. That's a lie. Catch yourself. Catch yourself in those and remind yourself of the truth. Everything is perfect. The situation may not look perfect, but the God within me is perfect. So the situation must be perfect. It's always unfolding perfectly. It is absolutely perfect for me. Okay. Acknowledge that what you see might not look great, but it has to be, declare the truth. It has to be unfolding for you. When you feel doubt, do not let your doubt give you an excuse to tell a story against what you want. The doubt is an old version of you dying off. I know. I said I was going to end this, but we not. I'm finna show y'all something, all right? I'm going to show y'all something on, well, y'all can't see it on TikTok. But if you were on YouTube, you could see it. All right, so this is one way that you can view reality that could help. All right. I did a lecture. It was called Manifesting Prosperity While My Life is in Chaos. We did a slideshow. Now, where is it? Here we go. All right. Whenever you, oh, damn, I'm black no motherfucker. Boy, I can't see nothing but eyeballs. All right. So whenever you are wherever you put your energy, what you have to think about is on a spiritual level, there are entities being attached to that thing. And when I think of entities, we just think of entities as a way to explain how the spiritual world works. There's always spiritual repercussions for things done in the physical reality. So let's say that I am watching corn. Let's say that I'm having thoughts of lack. Let's say I'm having thoughts of jealousy. What happens is that energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transmuted, transferred, right? Used. It's going to create an energetic tunnel, and these quote unquote entities are going to attach to it. Now think of your energy like this, like pouring out water. If I've been thinking about the explicit websites for a day, it's going to be pouring out a little bit, and I might have a cup full, okay? If I'm thinking about these for months, years, it's going to be a lake. A decade, it's going to be an ocean. All right? So now what happens when I try to change? I've been thinking about lack. I've been thinking about loss. Now I want to switch to prosperity. These entities on the other side, these spiritual entities, what do they say? They say, I've been surviving off of your energy. Don't take it away. What also happens is you have different versions of you. When you are in a relationship and a version of you is created that sees the rest of your life with this person, when that ends, that version of you has to fall away, but you have to grieve it. It still thinks about being with that person until eventually it dies off. Now, you've been thinking in lack. You have a version of you that's in lack. Anytime you think lack, energetically, it feels it. It feeds off of that. You have entities that are feeding off of that energy. Now, all of a sudden, I say, I do not agree with lack. I step in prosperity. And now you have these urges. You have these urges. Spiritually, you have these urges to go back to thinking about lack. What is that? These entities, they don't want to die. The old version of you doesn't want to die. It would be like somebody just walking up to you and starting to choke you out. You're going to fight for your life. So how do they fight back? They give you feelings of doubt. The entities give you feelings of doubt. what we call these urges, right? When you're on retention, when you start practicing sexual discipline, you might have an urge to go peek at a little website, right? This is an urge. This is this entity saying, I am dying. So a lot of times when we feel doubt, we should actually be celebrating. This is an old version of you dying off. What happens when you see things that are unfavorable spiritually? You have an old version of you. It needs your energy. Because you're not focused on me, I'm dying. So what am I going to do? I'm going to give you a situation to try to pull your energy here. See this. You've been praying for prosperity, but the bills are still piling up. Nothing's changed around here. Look at you affirming all day, bro. Come back to me. Come back to me. Just whispering in your ear, sweet nothings in your ear. Come back to me, baby. I miss you. You know what I'm saying? It's good over here. We were comfortable. We could predict shit together. You know how daddy likes it, man. We can predict shit together, okay? So you have to be the one that says, no, that is a lie. This is just another version of me trying to pull me back. And when you understand that, you don't have to look at these old versions of you as mean, these entities as mean. They're just trying to survive. They're desperate. You should be grateful. If I'm feeling this urge, if I'm seeing this adverse situation, it's an old version of me dying. Die faster. I'm taking more energy away from you. It must be working out perfectly. This must be a sign that the lack version of me is dying perfect. I mourn you. I still love you. I thank you for everything that you've done. But now I'm stepping into another mansion in my Father's house. I'm stepping into a different version of me. Okay? This is how you have to think about it. So you have these entities and these different versions of you that are just dying off. Right? That's why you see adverse, quote unquote, different situations. Shit, that light got bright. So hopefully that helps a little bit more. Like I was saying, I'm about to end, and y'all just trap me with the perfect comments. And I'm just like, ooh, I need to talk about that. I appreciate that, for real. But all right, y'all, I'm about to end this with some affirmations and let y'all go, okay? I see you all as beautiful, as divine, as powerful, as gods, as goddesses, right? Everything that you desire, you have. Everything that you desire, you have right now. Right now. Who you are is holding it. Who you are is holding it. You're just waiting for it to materialize in this reality. Expect it. Anticipate it. Be grateful for it right now. Breathe easier. Know that it is a promise for you. Okay? You are powerful beyond your understanding. You are divine beyond your understanding. You are loved unconditionally beyond your understanding. You are worthy, infinitely worthy, right? Infinitely prosperous. There is no situation that the source within you cannot deliver you from. Feel this, know this, believe this, be this, all right? Be this. If you do not feel divine, if you don't feel powerful, if you don't feel worthy, it's cool because I see you as that way anyway, so I know that it must be true, without a doubt, all right? Y'all have a beautiful, beautiful evening. Appreciate y'all. Probably talk to y'all again tomorrow. Stay safe tonight, right? And God willing, we'll talk again tomorrow, all right? Peace.